The lads lost last night at Nottingham Forest, unfortunately, so they're knocked out of the Premier League Cup, but nonetheless they've had a good run in the competition, and Harrison Jones was indeed the captain of that team last night, so joined the team today following that result. Burstow, I mean, in all honesty, Hamir, Burstow, toss a coin, and I think you're not going to say that one is better than the other, one's worse than the other. They're about on the same level, aren't they? I mean, they just don't. I mean, bless them, they're giving, trying hard, but it's just not happening.
Yeah, and we're just having that conversation in the press room before with our co-host from BBC, and he just turned around and said, "Wow, your team is very, very young."
Than the other one. Taking O'Nien out of the equation, it must be an average age of 20.
Yeah, and you're thinking, Chris Rigg, very, very good player, great talent, but also, you know ourselves that what we're missing that experience, and it's a big call for him.
Indeed. Rob Mason joins us from a long way away today, actually. I'm not sure as the crow flies how far it is, but I wouldn't guess it's not much less than 400 miles away on the Solway Peninsula. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I would think it's probably over 400 miles, but certainly it's a long way, and it's a tough game for Sunderland this afternoon, as you've just been describing, Nick.
What do you make of the starting 11? Would you have come up with that 11? Would that have been?
No, I wouldn't, because Burstow would not be in my 20, never mind starting 11. He wouldn't even be on the bench for me, because I think he's offered absolutely nothing. It's up to him to prove everybody wrong. But no, he wouldn't be in my team, and I don't see the point even of having him on the bench. I'd have another young lad on. You've just talked about Harrison Jones. We've seen Lavery and lads like that be rewarded for doing well through the youth team. Lads will bring through our own youth team. Burstow's obviously got some ability. He did play a few minutes in the Premier League at the beginning of the season for Chelsea, as well as playing in the League Cup for them. But in the game, he's had a lot of opportunities at Sunderland. He started a lot of games, and so far, in most of those games, he's been virtually anonymous. So I simply wouldn't pick him. But football's all about opinions. What I haven't done is I haven't seen him in training this week. He might have been blistering in training this week, and that's why Mike Dodds might have picked him. He's better. He's a better judge than me to make that call, and obviously he'll be hoping that Burstow can provide the team with some kind of a spearhead this afternoon. How you doing, mate? But no, he wouldn't be in my side.
It's going to be interesting, because Southampton, we've not seen their team yet, but they do boast, a very, very strong forward line. But Benno, you mentioned Adam, who's the Southampton commentator, and he did say that one thing that Southampton will do is give you chances.
How are you doing, Paul?
They can press the.
How are you doing? You're okay, mate? How are you doing?
Definitely so. And again, you look at some of their results in the games. Is that
if you can hear me all right,
4-3,
just let me know if I'm too quiet or whatever.
They do concede goals, but we can't score goals, but they can score goals. You look at games where they've come back and won 5-4.
Too quiet and whatnot.
They've been 3-0 down. So, there is goals in them. They're a team who likes to.
I am just temporarily
go
on the
forward,
sofa at the minute because I'm getting a computer desk.
Sunderland this afternoon.
Are you telling me this game's not going to end 0-0?
I tell you what, Nick, we'll have a bet on it. I bet you it doesn't end 0-0.
I'm not going to take that bet.
Why?
Because I don't think it's going to end 0-0.
No, I don't think it's a 0-0 game. I think
this is a goals game.
All right.
If there was ever going to be a coupon buster, this is the one.
You think so?
It's just there's got to be goals in this game.
There's goals, definitely goals.
I cannot see this game not having goals.
Which end? For who? There you go.
Well, it's about time we did something, isn't
it? Can Sunderland keep a clean sheet, or can they keep numbers down? Rob, I mean, you've been here before. You were here talking of goals back in October 2014 when Sunderland conceded 8 goals.
Yeah, and we scored 3 of them. There were 3 own goals, including that spectacular one from Santiago Virginie,
which set it all off.
Which set it all off.
Taking the lead.
Yeah, I mean, that equals Sunderland's record ever defeat. And yes, I think everybody really, given the fact that we've lost the last few games,
Jacob SCFC, alright pal, don't get this lineup like, no, she was quality of the bench
injuries we've got, particularly the forward players.
I know, it's just weird, isn't it?
Everybody's sort of looking at this game and thinking, well, it's a bit of a write-off, we're going to get nothing of it. Well,
just don't,
you know, there's no doubt right in that, you know, it's a
I really don't understand.
In prospect.
Do you know what? I didn't see the lineup yet. I've just been
I always say there's no point in beating yourself before you even start. You've got to go out with some fight and some belief. And the other night, after a poor start, to put it mildly, a very poor start in the first 15 minutes against Leicester, when if it wasn't for Anthony Patterson, that game could have been dead and buried by 15 minutes. Sunderland, although they were unlucky not to score, particularly with the Trey Hume shot that comes off the underside of the bar, you know, they came back and showed a bit of fight, and against the team who are top of the league. They need to go out this afternoon with exactly that same kind of fight, but from minute one, get about Southampton, who we know will try and...
Tell you what, if there's any team that deserves to get up this season...
Coming back to Mason Burstow as the front man,
it's like
this is where he can work hard for the team. If he wants to work hard for the team and try and put pressure on Southampton, try and help us win that ball in that final third and see if we can get a goal.
I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
After we beat Southampton,
be the 7th win on the bounce.
On one of those rare days when everything went right for Sunderland, I'm sure Southampton, as well as looking for the 3 points in their quest for promotion, they will be thinking we've got a bit of a score to settle with the weird side this afternoon, and they'll be well up for it. So, you know, we've got to be ready for that, and I'm sure that talk will have been in the dressing room from Mike Dodds all week, or at least since the final whistle against Leicester.
I was chatting to someone earlier this afternoon.
Jacob
here,
the lineup.
Just reminiscing and
Patterson,
saying how they could do Sunderland with someone like Carlos Edwards, who could let fly from 25, 30 yards. And I said, well, we've got Pierre Equa. He likes to shoot from distances on the bench.
And he did score twice in that game against Southampton earlier in the season.
Yeah,
but
he's going to have to do it from the substitutes bench.
Burstow and Shaw, I wouldn't let them anywhere near the first team.
I think he was playing.
Michael M, how are you doing, fella? I can't wait for Bellingham to be sold on. A nice bit of profit, and we can stop putting him in the start 11 every game regardless of his performance. I know. It's his name, isn't it? It's got to be his name. Billy GW, you're alright. That's a very young team, I know.
He pretty much had his own personal goal of the season competition, didn't he? Everybody remembers, of course, the brilliant one against Burnley in the game.
Yellow strips today, so
yeah, just a couple of weeks after the game here, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he scored a blistering goal down there at St Mary's. I remember that game.
Our score font here.
I've been talking. He's
So
probably
we'll
there
select the
today.
colour.
I've been talking there to the former long-term Sunderland caretaker manager Dave Merrington. Before that game, I remember about Carlos Edwards. And then when I saw Dave at the final whistle, he said, "Oh, you weren't wrong, were you?" Because Carlos had stuck one in from outside the box.
And there we go.
As he did frequently that season. But it wasn't just his spectacular
away
long-range
strip.
goals.
Right.
You know, Carlos Edwards was a player who you could always rely on.
Trouble is though, Jacob, there's too many players inconsistent.
He was a very, very good player on the right side of midfield.
That is the trouble.
Funny enough, you mentioned Dave Merrington, because of course he's from the northeast, and he used to be the summariser for BBC Radio Solent until recently. He's given that up now because of the age that he is.
See what he does when he has back to Chelsea.
We were driving down Ben and I
reckon we will get something out of this game, mate.
Radio Solent now have as their
building on something after positive from Leicester game.
It took me the whole journey, and I came out with Klaus Lund at
think so, wouldn't you?
Actually, it's Joe Tessum.
Right, okay.
It's going to be some social media.
Sort of right in the right geographical region. But Joe was saying to me in the press lounge earlier,
clueless
and
few
this
starting
made me think of Ben and I,
that doesn't make sense.
He
pretty
and
attack-minded
Adam, who
team, not
commentates
much cover for defence.
Solent on Southampton.
And Louis says no
they
online,
went on a couple of away games, so they made them as far away as possible,
last game,
so they could test out whether they got on with each other in the car.
Come on, Burstow, get a goal today, says
I never got put through that test.
Chris has said
I had
no choice. I had intuitive trust in you, Benno. I had no choice. Trust.
I had to like him.
Selection was so easy.
Here you are.
These dummies still get it wrong.
You don't have to believe for 21 years, I think it's you know, you've done all right. Quickly, while Rob's on as well, because I can give you the Southampton team now as well.
Paul Freeman, welcome, mate. Anybody who's new,
it's Taylor
you can click the thumbs up. Let's get the likes
right
up, and anybody who's new, hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Trying to get my next milestone is trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. That would be great.
In midfield,
we're getting there. 1,888, I think it is.
Does he make it? Yes, he's on loan from West Ham. Stuart Armstrong and the front three. Brace yourselves.
If I can make
David Brooks, Adam Armstrong, of course, who's from Newcastle, who's got 17 goals this season, and Che Adams.
That'll be great.
Scottish international.
I hope so. Starting to have a bit of a sympathy for the man with 6 in a row, Michael.
This season.
Jacob, get Hedgie to stay back. Isn't a full back, so don't try and tackle the ball.
Yes.
And Billy G.W. Rick needs to start
yesterday, wishing him all the very best, of course, and he wouldn't wish that injury on anybody.
Of course,
it's quite interesting, actually. I think those of you who've watched the final part
players like that,
of the
we just do pathetic. It's going to refresh the
series. There's a sort of feature on Ross Stewart within the series. I think it's in the 2nd episode, and it actually gives a very good background and it fills out
just
the Ross Stewart
the league
story,
tables
like, from when he played in Scotland. When he started out with his dad,
I thought it was refreshing, but it's
you
not.
do
so let's have a
genuinely
look
feel
at
for the guy, and he's had
page,
absolutely wretched luck when it comes to injury.
Put the current result, which is Ipswich, Kevin Scoreline, Ipswich leading so far.
And his own career, in my opinion, he's Scotland's best forward. He's only had a couple of caps before he got injured. But I think if he just kept playing, if he hadn't got injured by now,
Paul says with 09 out, looking forward to a clean sheet. Great to see Dan Neil as our captain.
As Scotland's main forward, obviously Lawrence Shankland scored a lot of goals at Hearts as well. But for me, Ross Stewart is the best of all of them.
It's interesting when you talk about Ross Stewart being the best of all of them. Just again talking to Adam, our colleague there, and I said about Ross Stewart, and he said yes, he's out till the end of the season. But he also said that they brought him to get them out of this league.
The lineup
still a question mark. Can he play in the Premier League?
Patterson,
well, of course,
Jacob's put it up there. There's Patterson, Hugh, Ballard,
but he was scoring a good number of goals per games in those championship games.
Rigg, Bart, Burstow,
the big thing with Ross, after the injuries that he's had,
the starting
is
11.
To what extent, when he's back from injury, to what extent will he get back to the level he was at before? If he was back at the level he was before, then yes, personally, I think he would take to the Premier League like a duck to water. But the question is, how much will he have lost through the injuries that he's had? And I can only wish him well. He was a very, very good footballer for Sunderland. Such a sad thing that he got injured, because if he hadn't got injured last season, I think he would be playing in the Premier League now, and he would be playing in the Premier League for Sunderland, because he would have got us promoted.
I think you probably answered my next question, because a colleague here said to me earlier, if Ross Stewart had stayed fit and stayed at Sunderland, would he have scored the goals
I will put the team thing
for Sunderland this season, and would they therefore find themselves in the top 6? And I think your answer there suggests that you believe that would have been the case.
Oh well, I think we would have won the playoffs last year, and if we'd had Ross Stewart. I mean, as you know, we were devastated in those playoff games, not just in the front men, but in defensively as well. We didn't have a centre half to name virtually in that second leg at Luton, when we were just bombarded by Luton Town, who, took full advantage, and good credit to them for doing that. But we'd missed Ross Stewart for a lot of the first half of the season. Then when he got injured in the FA Cup at Fulham in late January, and that ended his campaign, we basically...
So there we go. I have now pinned
largely without him. I think, did he play something like 13 league games?
It's the line to the top.
I seem to remember. There's no doubt in my mind that Ross Stewart would have got us promoted last season. And not only was he value in the penalty area that we were attacking, we were vulnerable to set pieces, yet when Ross Stewart was in the side, more often than not, he'd be the man on the near post, heading out corners, heading out free kicks, so we missed him in both boxes. And of course, as Marco Gabbiadini has regularly stated, listening to him on Total Sport, as an all-round number 9, an all-round centre forward, Ross wasn't just a penalty box player. He could really stretch defences, he could run in behind, he could hold the ball up. I thought he was the real deal. And if we'd not got promoted last season, and Ross was playing for us regularly this season, I've no doubt we'd be in the top 6 and possibly in the top 2. But that's all ifs, buts and maybes in football, and you did get injuries. Injuries are a part of football. We have to put up with it. Ross Stewart is now history as far as Sunderland's concerned. But I'm sure he'll be sat in the stands there at Southampton this afternoon, and hopefully not wallowing in too much self-pity over the way his career's gone. And from his
so on the subs, we have Bishop,
got plenty of goals next season,
Pembele,
as long as they're not against us.
Lewis Himmer, Rusin, Sheesh,
finally,
Lavery, Jones,
we're old enough, and
so I would have Rusin.
Both Ben and I, in covering Sunderland, the years that we've done it, we've always covered them at Southampton, here at St Mary's. But you, Rob, I'm sure, Benno, you will remember the Dell. You'll have played there. Rob, will you remember that? Because I was actually chatting to another colleague who's too young to remember the Dell this morning, and saying how it used to be in the leafy surrounds of Southampton Common, I think, and very, very much in the urban landscape of the town, the city.
Sunderland were the last team to beat Southampton at the Dell with a great goal from Kevin Kilban. We beat them 1-0 down there. And equally, Southampton were the last team to beat Sunderland at the stadium, not the stadium, right, at Roker Park. So yeah, I went to the Dell numerous times, but that's the one that sticks in my mind. It wasn't quite the last game.
Nice to see 24 people in.
Southampton lost.
It's such an early time.
I remember Lee Chapman scoring one of his very few goals for Sunderland down at the Dell way back in the mid-80s. But yeah, you know, it was a ground full of character. It was obviously very, very small ground, but it had its own unique atmosphere. It was always a ground worth going to, and again, just part of the fabric of football history now.
It was very much, I always remember it as, I think I often find that clubs who wear red and white, they exude a warmth in the stadium. The colours are very warm.
So are we all confident
and the Dell,
in the
it was
chat
wooden
today?
as well. It was, you just remember going into the Dell and everywhere was, everything was wood.
30%
It was so old. It had that real sort of antique feel about it, if you like.
It had a charm, didn't it, the Dell? It wasn't always the greatest from the point of view of your vantage point, because you know, you could be stuck if you were in the paddock. You could be, and once it was all seated, you were sat down. Your eyes were pretty much on the level of the turf. And if you were sat higher up in the stands, you'd quite probably have a pole in your way, possibly obscuring, you know, your view of part of the goal. And if you were in the end where the visitors would be, you know, if it was raining, you'd get soaked. So it wasn't all pluses, but it did have a certain charm. And yeah, I'd went to the Dell on you know, probably 6 or 7 occasions over the years, and saw one or two bad defeats there as well, which I'm trying to blank from my mind.
Excellent, Rob. Well, thank you very much indeed. We'll talk to you, of course, in the flesh next weekend at the Stadium of Light.
Surprise everybody and come up with a decent result.
You never know. You never know. Bear in mind, 3 of the last 4 league games here have ended 1-1. So you know,
thank you very
maybe
much.
there's something in the history of the fixture. Rob Mason, Sunderland club historian. Thank you, Rob. We'll be chatting to Rob next weekend at the Stadium of Light ahead of the game against Queen's Park Rangers, which will not be the game that I think a month ago we thought it might be, because they've seen a bit of a turnaround under their new Swedish coach. Just to recap on the team this afternoon, it's Patterson in goal, Hume, Ballard, Sealt and Hjelde, Neal and Rigg, Barr, Jobe, Mundle and Burstow, and the bench is Bishop, Pembele, Hamir, Rusin, Aushish, Tom Lavery, Harrison Jones, Ekwa and Styles. Southampton is the same team that won 4-3 at Birmingham last weekend. They would have played Preston on Wednesday night, I suspect, and from conversations I've had here today, it would have been the same team on Wednesday evening, which leads you to believe there could have been changes for the game today had that game taken place, but it's not to be. It's Gavin Bazunu in goal, Taylor Harwood-Bellis, who's on loan from Manchester City, Jack Stevens, Jan Bednarek and Ryan Manning across the back, Will Smallbone, Flynn Downs on loan from West Ham, Stuart Armstrong, and the front 3 is David Brooks, who's on loan from Bournemouth, Welsh international, Adam Armstrong, the former Newcastle United striker, and Che Adams, the Scottish international.
So Michael, how are you doing? Michael says, I have a real soft spot for Southampton.
Before we join Don for a roundup of the day's sports news, because we've got full commentary this afternoon of Gateshead as well online in the FA Trophy. What do you make of that Southampton 11?
I do like the lad.
It's attacking.
Your face says it all.
It's attacking minded. You know, we forget to mention Adam Armstrong. He's one who'll be gunning to score this afternoon. You know, we've talked about Che Adams. You know, we've talked about Stuart Armstrong, David Brooks, but one person we have mentioned is Adam Armstrong.
He has got 17 goals this season. When you have conversations about Adam Armstrong, he's one of those strikers that always comes up as great in the Championship, not quite good enough in the Premier League. Straddles the two, if you like.
Yeah, and that reminds us of a player who we had, didn't we? Striker from Newcastle.
What you mean, the MC?
The centre forward.
Little MC.
Yeah.
We all know who we're talking about.
Indeed.
So we'll leave that one hanging. It's best not go there.
That's right.
This afternoon then, as I say, we hopefully have 3 o'clock full commentary online of Gateshead against Peterborough Sports.
Oh, Cardiff have equalised.
Simon Pride and Paul Dixon. And we'll have full commentary here at the St Mary's Stadium of Southampton against Sunderland. Now to round up everything, including England's unfortunate collapse in the cricket, which was perhaps highly predictable in the 5th Test against India, and everything else that's happening round and about, is Dom James.
Nick and Gary, thank you very much for that. We're back.
That's a huge goal.
Southampton versus Sunderland in the Championship.
Ipswich chasing automatics.
Early kick-off in the Championship today. Cardiff versus Ipswich. Ipswich are leading 1-0 in the final stages there. And at Old Trafford in the Premier League, Man U are leading Everton by 2-0 in that game. Newcastle, of course, not in action today. They play on Monday night to Chelsea. Non-league-wise today, as Nick has just mentioned, a big day at the International Stadium, where Gateshead take on Peterborough Sports in the FA Trophy quarter-finals.
Afternoon, Cabby. Hello, MACKEM down south. How are you doing, mate?
Simon Pride and Paul Dixon on commentary.
First goal scorer, Chris Rigg. I'd like to see that.
Me now. Afternoon to you both.
Afternoon, Dom. Yes, it's a drizzly and cold afternoon. The wind's coming in from the east here at the International Stadium, but we're all set for an FA Trophy quarter-final, Gateshead against Peterborough Sports, which we're thoroughly looking forward to. The two sets of players are just doing their warm-up routines in front of us, and boy, do they need to do that this afternoon. It's supposed to be spring, Paul Dixon, but yet it's a chilly afternoon, but we're looking forward to this afternoon's match, aren't we?
Well, we really are. It's very exciting quarter-final of the FA Trophy. 2 games away from Wembley, Simon. It's really exciting. But you're right, it is cold. I've got 3 coats on, 2 hats and a pair of gloves. I'm ready for action, you know.
Well, the Gateshead team is an interesting one. 6 changes to the team that played against Solihull Moors in midweek. So I'll rattle through the team. We're not really sure exactly what the formation is going to be. There's been quite some discussion, hasn't there, ahead of the match this afternoon as to who's going to be playing where. But Montgomery is in goal. Job, Robbie Tinkler at the back as well. Kenton Richardson could be one of the defenders, might be playing wing back. You get the picture, we're not quite sure. McBride, Hassani, Stott, Booty, Warman, Evans and Brown. So interesting to see Dejon Brown getting his chance up front with Marcus Denanga, one of the substitutes he's getting.
So what Cardiff City looking to win this game?
They'll end up needing him this afternoon. Remains to be seen.
No,
The subs, Whelan,
updates
Story,
on
Allen, Francis,
the match, like,
Bond,
there's a game on in our league.
So that's the Gateshead team, Dicker, and we kind of know how they'll line up in terms of formation because they always play 3 centre halves to play wing backs, but we just don't quite know who's going where yet, do we?
Well, I'm really puzzled by this team. I am. I mean,
Rob, if you're puzzled, everyone's puzzled.
Well, yeah, you're right. I'm really shocked. I am, because it's a quarter-final. I mean, Rob, who I love, I think he's a top manager. He knows the game inside out, and you know, I'm looking at the team and I think, well, where will they play? I mean, if you look at the substitutes, right, that's Gateshead's team. But that's the team that's got them 5th top and in the quarter-final of the trophy. So I think Rob's taking a big gamble against Peterborough, unless he knows a lot more about Peterborough than we really do, Simon.
Well, they're playing
so
Tuesday, Saturday at the moment, so he clearly wants to give others a chance and rest a few people as well. But it's going to be a fascinating afternoon in terms of the fact that Peterborough Sports, who play in the National League North, have got some scalps this season in terms of teams that play at Gateshead's level here in the National League. They've beaten Dagenham and Redbridge, albeit on penalties. They've beaten Kidderminster as well, and Gateshead have struggled a little bit.
Hello, Derek, mate.
They won
Burstow, Barnjob, what the hell's going on?
And they drew
Rig,
with Western
Ashish and
Superman,
Russian
beating them
same
on
old
penalties
crap.
again,
I know.
a tier below. I've been
There's
chatting
got to be something
to
in the
Rob Elliott, the Gateshead interim manager. He came on
in the contract
on Thursday, and he said that.
I'll tell you what, Derek, I put a video up on my channel. If you want to catch up on it, mate, going on about, like we've talked about
resources in the league.
KLD could be, think he's going to sell up in his skin. Have a look at it. It's got quite a good number of views.
That we brought in, especially the last 18 months or so. They want to be here for the right reasons. Do you know what? We love it. We wouldn't change it. Look, it'd be lovely to have more resources, but it's our superpower in terms of the fact that we whatever we get, we're grateful for, and we appreciate it so much.
Hello, Joel.
Whether it's the
CFC.
And then we just make
is that Manchester City?
We're there to be shot at Peterborough. Very good
How are you doing, Joel? You alright?
It can be a potential banana skin, but at this level especially, there's not too much difference between the leagues. And obviously, with us trying to maintain the playoff push and everything, we got game Tuesday against Dagenham, a massive game. We're a very good team recently, and this is where the squad depth comes in, and the players that you have to trust. And cup games are brilliant, aren't they? The one-off occasions, they get that nerves. We need to be as fresh as possible. We need to find different solutions to
Cardiff
different problems.
Have just
and
scored.
they'll give them their all.
Bloody hell!
Rob Elliott there talking to Simon on Total Sport earlier this week. There's a few other non-league games today. And Paul, I just want to get your
that is
on
mad.
a couple of them as well. In National League North, Blythe at home to Kingsland, South Shields at home to Brackley. But in the NPL...
I just live down the road from Carlisle in Warwick Bridge.
But in the East Division...
How you doing, mate? Yorkshire Mackem, how are you doing?
They are...
Jacob, lad, you okay, fella?
Home to Belper Town today. But the game's being played at Brickhouse. The game couldn't be played at Belper either. Their pitch... they're struggling with their pitch as well with all the weather recently. So both teams...
Well, I tell you what, that's dented...
It seems very unfair.
That's dented Ipswich Town's the thingy, isn't it?
Well, it is, and I mean, I don't think the league or the FA are helping the teams at all. I mean, it'll cost Dunstan round about £1,000 for a bus to go down the country, and the fans have got to travel. They'll not make any revenue on the gate receipts or any money on over the bar, hamburgers, hot dogs, whatever, where they make their money.
I'm not too bad.
To run the club.
Jacob, lad, was quite funny Friday, wasn't it?
I think the FA and the league have said, look, this is what you need to do. But
podcast
really, saying, well, how can you help us? I mean, are you going to give us the money that we're missing out on? I think it's very, very unfair, Dom. I really do.
We have a bit of a local derby as well. Concert against Ashington today. That should be a feisty one at Bellevue today.
Well, that'll be a good game this afternoon. Two good sides on that here. It'll be both teams need to win to get themselves pushed into the playoffs.
Hell.
But
Billy Fry, hello mate.
And Hebburn Town are against Sheffield.
Springs Eternal.
In the Scotland, Berwick Rangers are at home.
Alan Ray, hello mate, how you doing?
Another
crap bus day. I know.
Throughout this afternoon. To cricket and India have thrashed England by an innings and 64 runs.
They're really funny, aren't they, Jacob? They're a good laugh. I don't know why my camera was upside down.
Series 4-1. On a positive though, James Anderson became
I just don't know why.
To take a 700 wicket.
This doesn't make sense.
1-year-old is
it must have been a bug because it's never done that before.
To reach that milestone in rugby union, though, there was a friendly last night between the Newcastle Falcons and Sale Sharks. The Newcastle Falcons coming out victorious in that one, winning 31 points to 28. Six Nations returns this weekend as well. Italy and Scotland just got underway, and then this afternoon at Twickenham, England take on Ireland 4:45. So we'll keep you updated on that one here on BBC Radio Newcastle, and then tomorrow in the Six Nations, Wales take on France. Basketball, and last night the Newcastle Eagles beat the Manchester Giants.
What can I get to
9 points to 77. The Eagles next in action tomorrow. They're away to the Caledonia Gladiators. It's a 5 o'clock tip-off. And in the WBBL Championship today, the Durham Palatinates are against the Caledonia Gladiators and are currently into the fourth quarter there, and the trail 69-41. And then the Essex Rebels host the Newcastle Eagles later this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow in the ice hockey, the Whitley Warriors are away to the D-side Dragons. Darts, and in the PDC.
Anybody see the Joshua fight last night?
In Belgium.
It was over in about 2 minutes.
Game 6-3 against Croatia's Romeo Grabak yesterday, and he's playing very shortly against Danny Noppert in the second round. And boxing, Anthony Joshua says he'd like the opportunity to face both Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk rather than just the winner of the forthcoming undisputed world heavyweight title fight, which takes place in May. Joshua knocked out the UFC champion Francis Ngannou in the second round last night in Riyadh. It was a devastating knockout there. And Olivier Bierman is set to make history as the youngest British F1 driver, aged just 18.
Be right back, guys.
In the Grand Prix for Ferrari in this afternoon's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Red Bull's Max Verstappen starts on pole after finishing in first in qualifying. That's you, pretty much up to date here on BBC Radio. Newcastle tonight to head back to St Mary's to continue build up to Sunderland, away to Southampton in the company of Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Danielle Banks has written a pop song protesting against potholes. So I want to know, what would you write your protest song about? Amanda in Sunderland.
People who eat with their mouths open and have bad table manners, and then let the children inherit their bad table manners.
Alan's on the phone. What's yours?
Those lovely drivers who like to drive either in the middle or the outside lane, not overtaking anything, sort of 55, 60 miles an hour, and they just sit there.
It'll go to number one, Alan.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
3 changes, bar Burster and Mundell in for Hemir, Ekwa and the suspended O'Nien. Let's hear for the first time this afternoon from the Sunderland interim head coach Mike Dodds.
Mike, well, firstly, the news that Southampton's game was off last night was probably not the news you wanted to hear. It's small things, but little things that could have helped you, them having a game so late in the week.
Yeah, and it feels like there's a lot of small things going against me and us at the moment, but as I said, like I said it from the outside, we've got to control the controllables and we've got to focus on us. So yeah, a little bit of not feeling sorry for yourself, but a little bit like, come on, let's just, someone give us a little bit of a break here. But yeah, listen, we focus on us, control the controllables.
You did touch on it on Tuesday night after the game, that it is 5 straight defeats, and you can't shy away from that. You do need a result from somewhere before it becomes a little bit of a runaway where the fans start to get unsettled, and you'd imagine perhaps the players start to feel a little bit of lack of self-confidence.
Yeah, that bit isn't lost on me. The things that I feel bits of positivity around is the players that are trying to execute what we've asked of them. I thought there was chunks of the game on the other night which were largely positive. And as I said, we're in a moment at the moment where we've got some really, really tough fixtures, and we've got some key players that are not available, and we've got to come through it, and we've got to stick together. And I think the group are in a good place in terms of as good as they can be. It's not lost on them either that we've lost 5, and we have addressed that and we've discussed that. But on the flip side, we've got to look at a lot of the positives, and not just for 45 minutes, but I think for maybe 60 minutes when I watched the game back. There was a spell in the first half which I thought we were better than I thought we were. So we've got to take the positives from the other night, and know that we've got another big game this weekend, and have the same mindset and the same approach for the game at the weekend.
I mean, to put it in perspective, I suppose, you look at Southampton, and they've got Brooks, Armstrong and Adams across the front, and you've got Burstow, Hemir and Rusin. I mean, it's harsh, but that's the cold light of day fact, isn't it?
Yeah, as I said, you've got to control the controllables. I believe in the players, I believe in the group.
We
had, the team that was out the other night was the team.
Good laugh again the
show last night, comparison to the Leicester team, and they had 1 shot at goal in the second half, none on target, and we completely dominated 45 minutes worth of football.
It's not my camera.
So they can do it.
With Discord.
And as I said, I've got full belief in them.
I've never done that before.
I've got full belief in the group, so I just feel we're one result away from this. The whole thing just kind of flipping on its head, but it's easier said than done. And what the league is proving, it's a tough league. It's a really, really tough league. But listen, we've got to dig in. And
if I turn it on its side,
stick
it
together.
goes upside down. I don't know why.
I'm seeing a lot of positives from the group, so there's no major anxiety or worries from my perspective. And regardless of who we play, Southampton or whoever else, we know it's going to be a tough game. It's the Championship.
Do you feel you're caught between a rock and a hard place?
Stop licking my sausage rolls, you bloody cat.
Not your fault. Michael Beale left. You would never have expected when he was appointed to be in this position, and then you find yourself coming in with the wheels falling off left, right, and centre.
Look, the cards are. I said this previously. The cards are definitely different for last time I took the team. Just in terms of personnel. So the cards are very, very much different.
Or rotate it
as I've alluded to a few times, that it's something that I want to do in the future, and I'm really conscious when I answer this because this isn't the Mike Dodds development programme. This is Sunderland Football Club, and we've got to win games of football. But from a personal perspective, I have to come through this moment, and I've got to show myself and the people that it's not always going to be Disney World.
Okay, let's have a look at this.
And the reality is there'll be other head coaches, other clubs, probably earlier in the season that have had these kind of moments in the season. So they've come through them.
I've done that now, yeah.
Whether I feel sorry for myself or not, I don't feel sorry for myself. It's happening on my watch. We've got a tough run of fixtures, and we've got some key members of the team that are out. And I go back to my original point. I've got to control the controllables. I've got to trust my processes.
It's weird, isn't it?
I don't think the games, although the results are not the results we want, I don't think there's been, apart from maybe 30 minutes of the first half at Swansea, I think the games have been really, really tight. There's been fine margins in the Norwich game and in the Leicester game, and we've got to turn those fine margins in our favour. And I think if we do, and like I said, we get one result, I do feel the momentum will shift.
I know.
Quite dramatically. But
hi, Michael Hood, Glory Smackham's here. All right, mate. Hi, mate.
I mean, from the outside,
AJ was good last night. Yeah, he was. Pam T, hi from Ireland. Hi to all. Would love a good game today. Thanks, Matt McCabe.
Your future.
Thank you very much.
From the outside, yes, people might see that.
Tuning
do you feel
in
that within
so
football,
far.
people know what the problems, what the issues are?
Oh, and I've got a subscriber there. Thank you very much for the subscriber.
Yeah, you're always going to get different lenses in terms of people looking at it from different perspectives. You get your Sunderland supporters that all they care about is the L or the W, which will be the same at every other club. You'll have some supporters that will be maybe a little bit more balanced and see it for what it is. You'll have
I want to know with my sausage rolls,
maybe
what's
who
best?
will
Daddy's
sit
brown
in that
sauce or HP
arena
brown sauce
that will understand for what it is. I'm semi-relaxed around it. I'm not relaxed in terms of there is 3 defeats and my name's at the top of the door, and I don't want to lose any game of football, let alone 3 on the bounce. But I'm also taking comfort, or a level of comfort, that the players are working, the players are listening to the messages, the players are.
John T, hello mate. 9 man starting 9 again for me. Jovan Burstow doing account.
And when we do get some of our key members of
3-0 Saints,
the team and the squad back, there will be a better reflection of Mike Dodds as a coach. But that being said, they're I go back to the night. I thought we were excellent. I thought we come up against the best team in the league. So the current group can do it. They definitely can do it. And there was pockets in the Norwich game which I really, really liked. So yeah, look, this isn't about Mike Dodds. I think that's the point I would make. This isn't about Mike Dodds. I understand the question. I understand that I have to have one eye on what I want to achieve. But I think anyone that really sits and analyses it will see that I've had a hand played which is hard to manage at the moment. But I'm quite.
We've not really played much in the pink strip, have we?
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Not really, no.
So it's 4th against 11th this afternoon. Southampton are in 4th place, 8 points behind Ipswich, who have lost today at Cardiff 2-1, and they have played now 2 more games than Southampton. So it's beholden from Southampton's point of view that they have to win really today. They haven't got a game next weekend. They were due to play Leicester City, but of course it's the FA Cup. Leicester are still involved in that. So they're effectively now facing a 2-week break. They've also got a 2-game catch-up because they missed the game against Preston and they've missed the game against Leicester. So Southampton are in a position where they have to win every game now. If they are realistically thinking that they can still make the top 2. Sunderland, on the other hand, yeah, they are 9 points clear of the bottom 3, and they are unquestionably now too far adrift to the top 6, 10 points to really.
Do you think Keane will join the chat? He's welcome.
Thinking that they can make a challenge. It's what they do now.
Do you know,
over these coming games,
just
to restore a bit of faith, a bit of credibility. Someone, Mike Dodds in his interview there, just saying it's not Disney World. Someone's just said it's more like a horror movie.
Well, it is, Nick. You know, we've lost 5 on the trot. You know, you're looking into this game, you know, to get something out of this game. And, you know, before we knew about the Ipswich result, you know, Southampton...
I'm just saying it's like...
It's a game they had to win.
I'm not going to say a past Karen, but it's like... I'm not bothered even if it is 6 defeats in a row. It's like, it is what it is.
A result today, get a result today.
We just need that 1 win or 3 draws from there.
But also, you know, we're looking at the team, we're looking at the Sunderland lineup today, and it basically can go either way. And what I mean by that is that it's a young team, okay? Hopefully the youth has got no fear and we can go out there and express themselves. On the other hand...
Yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody has to play each other below us. I mean, tell you what though, did you see the Cardiff Ipswich game?
Again, they'll be looking around for that experience, and that's something which we've been lacking, you know, to come to Southampton. And you know, you've got to feel like they're going to be starting on the front foot. They're going to be asking questions. Now we've got to dig deep. We've got to make sure that we do not concede early. We've got to make sure that we, you know, play ourselves into the game and grow with confidence. And also, you know, as the game goes on,
that is a huge dent.
Hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 opportunities.
They will have watched the Leicester game the other night at Southampton. They'll be aware that if they can start as quickly as Leicester did and get the opening goal, they're in the box seat. Sunderland really, and in the situation they're in at the minute,
a huge
they have to be
dent
trying to score first.
Well, you know, you're just looking at the lineup, Nick. You know, and again,
I mean, if that was us in their shoes,
we talked a lot about obviously Shea Adams
that'll hurt
in the team.
For them
but you've got to remember that
Adam
Armstrong's in the team, so they might play basically 2 up front.
And to lose 2 goals, it was typical Sunderland defending. Looking at Ipswich,
he's sharp, he's got an eye for goal. But also they've got Stuart Armstrong, you know, experienced player. David Brooks, he's a quality player. He'll make things happen. So you just look at them. We just mentioned 4 of them forwards. You know, they'll be starting on the front. They're going to ask questions. You know, so it's going to be difficult. You know, the player who I like, who plays for Southampton,
he's not in, has he?
Smallbone.
Yeah, Will Smallbone.
He plays in there and he likes to make things tick.
We saw him at Stoke last season. He was on loan there.
And he's not a bad player. So we've got to make sure that, you know, we come out of the traps and we're ready for the battle.
Well, Jensen Silt takes the place of Luke O'Nien this afternoon in the heart of the Sunderland defence. I caught up with him following the 1-0 defeat to Leicester City on Tuesday night.
Jensen, you look knackered.
Yeah, it was a tough game, obviously. Really high intensity, I think.
Anyone know about Will Still?
A lot of
I think that's going to be
on the pitch. So
time will tell.
Yes.
Danilo Moraes, whatever how are you doing? 4 times 3 como sempre. Whatever that means.
For a night here.
Yeah.
Honestly,
feels like
Potter will be good for sure. Do you like gravy with chicken? Absolutely do a bomb. Who don't?
High tempo, but I think after 10 minutes, we start doing better and better, and we really grow into the game. And then second half,
it's Fan TV going now, are
a haul from us. So yeah, we should continue like that, and yeah, hopefully start winning soon, and yeah, getting the momentum to our side.
You didn't let your heads drop. I think that was the key after they scored.
Yeah.
And that shows still a lot for the mentality, the spirit within.
Yeah, we have such a good group, and we're not negative at all at the moment. So we just we know if we concede one, we just have to stick on and keep close as a group, and I think we can be a little bit proud of ourselves this night, because obviously we didn't have a point, but I think that the way we played and we react was really good.
The coach said this week it's not lost on you that you've lost 5 games now, and you are a good group. I mean, he said you're not skipping and hopping down the corridors at the academy.
There's just one person.
You are very mindful of keeping your spirits up and being very positive.
I think the coach is really talking to us like, just keep going with the progress we make, and don't let maybe the people from outside affect your progress and your focus. So yeah, at the moment we're just trying to stay really close as a group and
don't
let the negativity from outside affect us.
Is it difficult? I mean, you're only human. I mean, you play like you did in the second half tonight, and you don't get anything from the game. And does it feel a little bit like you're being kicked in the stomach?
It's harsh, yeah. But yeah, in the end.
MACKEM down south, I heard that will still have a £2 million buyout clause.
If you come,
we're not going to splash cash for that, are we?
80-yard box.
No chance.
Yeah, we have to be maybe more aggressive or. Maybe
you're emigrating them, aren't you?
I don't know what it is, but we have to find a way to score more goals because in the end, it's the only way we can get points, isn't it?
And personally speaking, you're getting games.
How are you doing, Peter, lad?
More because Luke got more. 10th. So from your perspective, sort of good comes from bad, if you like.
God's sake, I have. Paul Kent has won
the playing at the moment.
I mean, why? You tell me.
Yeah, I wish
this
we
is
had a better
just
result.
As bad as all Shearer crew. Why is Job and Alan getting a shot all the time?
Stay on the right pad and find a way to score more goals and keep winning. Start winning again.
I know.
I will give everything.
I do not understand. I do not
I
understand
think
how the hell.
Like I'm just trying to.
Job is getting a start every single match.
Seriously, to be thrown in as
well,
this season.
I wouldn't even put him on the team, boss.
It's what you wanted. I know. Speak to you early in the season. You just want to play football. Are you able to enjoy it? Able to learn? Do you feel that there's, you are developing now as a player?
Yeah. I think so because.
I'd love to know who.
Obviously, is really good opponents as well.
Who thinks of these things? I really do.
I think I'm doing a lot of things right, and sometimes
I know.
To look back at and improve.
That's Are you confident today, like Peter?
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC
SCFC Dreamers. Hello. Come on, Sunderland, you can do it.
Jensen Seelt, I mean, he was knackered before the interview and he was knackered after it because he said he's had to speak so much English. Press after the game. We forget sometimes, English is not his first language. And whilst he speaks it very, very well, I think he found it quite an effort after the game. So congratulations on.
There's half that team I wouldn't even
but what do you think of Seelt as a defender being one of the
I've been impressed with him. He's very good going forward. He's got great ability. But again, does it help? Well, he's playing alongside
somebody. He wouldn't get into the Chelsea Lasses team.
Shall we say, swap and change, innit? 1 minute it's 09, next minute it's Ballard. Then he's playing that right back. He hasn't really got a settled position.
Will he play?
There must be something involved in that. Yeah,
right-sided centre half. I'm
one of the worst one
sides. And Ballard will go to the left.
Yeah.
What I can remember.
Again, we're presuming that they'll play a back four, Nick.
I can't see them playing three.
Yeah, you never know.
You welcome dreamers, mate. Welcome along. You up, Peter?
And you're just thinking, will they play three at the back?
Honestly, you're bringing me out in a cold sweat if they play three today.
Again, would we be surprised? Because again, you look at the lineup today, and you're going to be saying you are surprised with the lineup because again, we talk about Rusin. Maybe they might look on Rusin as an impact player. But I think when he has come on, I think he's done enough to get him to start in the team. But he hasn't been given that run. We're swapping and changing. Him here, the last two games he's played. So again, that's been questionable. But has the said before
chance after chance after chance
that he looks good in training now. Most probably Burstow's look good in training, and
we're missing every single chance just about.
Training,
but if you had a person who knew where the goal is, yes, they also are going to miss chances.
Day,
but there's a higher chance of them putting one of them away. But at the moment, we're just constantly
there's a lot more pressure on you.
Firing blanks all the time.
Interesting. Burstow leading the line.
We will set St Mary's on fire on the pitch.
Job going to play behind, or is he going to play deeper in midfield because he dropped deeper in midfield on Tuesday night?
So, just to remind you of that team before we hear some more from Mike Dodds.
But Pete, I'm going to go because I'm live on my YouTube. I'll give you a full time. Are you about?
Ballard, Seelt and Hjelde, Neil
all the best,
and
mate.
Rigg, Barr, Job, Mundle and Burstow.
That's my mate,
and
Peter.
The bench is Bishop, Pembele, Hamir, Rusin, Aushish, Ekwa, Styles, Tom Laidbury and Harrison Jones. We're, 7 minutes away or so, 7.5 minutes away from...
How are you doing, everyone? You alright?
Interrupted. But it's interesting, just on that scoreboard there, did you see what come up?
Hello, you okay?
Cardiff 2, Ipswich 1.
Thank you.
I mean, it goes back to what we say, that Southampton are well aware that they've got to win.
Yeah.
You know, they're really going to push the top two.
I'm fine
and
in
they're going to start on the front foot.
What was the 5-0 earlier in the season?
Correct.
You know,
and
brilliant.
that will be mentioned by the manager.
Fantastic. Who else scored for us?
Let's hear some more then from the Sunderland interim head coach Mike Dodds.
There was plenty to take out of the second half.
You what, Pep?
Leicester, Southampton, hard to tell. They do seem to concede goals. I mean, that's one thing that maybe works for you at the weekend.
Are you broke up? Are you going past the car?
Yeah, look, like, any team we play in this league, they'll have their own strengths and weaknesses.
Who scored for us?
I think Russell Martin's got a real clear identity in terms of the way he wants to play. He's had that at all the clubs he's been at, and I've got a huge amount of respect for him for that.
Who were you playing?
And he won't change or waver from his beliefs.
So they're a good team, and all, you know.
I think the difficulty you have in game is they have so much quality, so much individual quality. You can set your teams up to play however you feel is best to nullify that. And it was similar to Leicester. You know, I watched the game back. I've actually watched it twice, and the first 15 minutes or so. When I watch it back, I've actually just got to give Leicester credit. I looked at it from a purely tactical perspective, and there wasn't a huge amount I disliked. I just thought they were really good.
That's how he played. So was Gordon there, was he?
And there was a couple of passes they made that were just like Premier League quality passes that just slice us open.
Are you on your way back now, are you? Because I'm just about to go live on the stream.
And it would be the same for Leicester. I know the players will be 100% up for the game. That's without question. I know they'll execute.
Well done to my boys. They're only 12-year-old and they've won 5-4 on their football match today.
Do the bits that they need to do.
Get in, me boys.
Result. That's the bit that is on them, and we speak a lot.
Hey, chuffed a bits. Me boys have won their football match 5-4 today. They're only 12.
As a collective,
so
but also what's on you. So we break it down into those three areas.
My little Caden scored one goal.
He scored one goal. They've got to execute their bits.
St Mary's is a ground where you've not done so bad over the last 10 years, 3-1 all draws. The other was an 8-0 in Southampton's favour. But I know sometimes clubs do seem to have grounds that you go to where you historically do well. I mean,
Rusin should be given game time to get him to his best. I know it's frustrating because he keeps getting game time and then he keeps getting knocked back again, then game time, then knocked back again.
We were fearless.
Gordon Seymour, when is over his ban, I would play Neen as a centre forward. I know. Sign him up, says Jonathan. Yeah, right.
A team that was representative of the city and of the fans, and one of the things that I said to the group was they've set a standard now and they've set a precedent in terms of how we should look, and I hope that is the kind of mantle going forward. It's taken us a game or two to kind of get back to that intensity, but you know, I take huge positives from what I've seen.
No, I can answer. It just takes us a time to unmute for some reason.
And whether it be
thoughts on the lineup, 4-1-4. What was it? 4-1-4-1.
We've got to be Sunderland. That's something that we won't change.
I don't
Luke's
know.
suspended, but will he?
Me hates spinning with this team at the minute. Never mind the lineups.
Like it's so he wants to travel.
I don't know. I don't matter what formation we put up in it, as long as we're not going weak at the back.
Something that you know I don't undervalue. I think it's really important that we have someone of his character around the group. So he's still fully committed.
Thanks for the subscriber. Thank you.
In what we're doing. I think if they didn't believe in what we are doing, you wouldn't get the level of commitment that they showed on Tuesday night. So the group generally is in an okay spot with all things considering. And we've got to go to the game on Saturday and be as fearless as we were on Tuesday.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Russell Martin's already taken up his place in the dugout ahead of the teams coming out. I think the stadium is going to explode with noise, judging by when we arrived here. They were testing the PA and the music. I think it's going to be interesting.
Very interesting. And it's,
as you just mentioned there, some Malik's come out early. He said what he needs to say.
4-0. I'm going for 4-0 Southampton, sorry. Yeah, I have just put the match on mute at the moment because they play music for the teams coming out, and it's a pain because I get done for copyright. I don't get in trouble with it. It just means I've got to edit it and get it out. So I'd rather just not have the commentary when they're playing. So I'm going to put my headphones on, see if I can hear when that music is off. And then I will be putting myself on mute because my channel is different from the others. You don't hear me speaking when the match is on. The other guys, other YouTubers, all chat to each other, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong in it, but I shut up and I let you guys hear the football, which some people apparently prefer to listen to the game and not me yap at none. So there we go. I am now going to mute myself.
To Norwich and back. Well, they've flown to Southampton.
To the first half.
Hopefully, the fact that they had a game in the week against Leicester doesn't get sort of held against them because, as we've been saying, Southampton have had a clear week now. They didn't get the game against Preston on Wednesday night. They're fresh. They're up for it, obviously. And now, having seen Ipswich Town's result, losing at Cardiff at lunchtime, even more up for it, I suggest. Great afternoon. It's not a bad afternoon. It's not, I wouldn't say it's sunny, but it's bright and it's dry and it's very, very mild.
Indeed. And again, Nick, you know, we keep going back to this. And, you know, you look at the Southampton lineup, and one thing which sticks out to you is they've got experience. They've got experience, you know, the likes of David Brooks, you know, Premier League player. He's been in there, you know, Adam Armstrong. We all know that he's got an eye for goal. Stuart Armstrong, Scottish international, who'll be in there. You know, you just Shay Adams, another Scottish international. So they're going to be tested today.
You've done well there, bravely battling when the Saints come marching in.
Hey?
Oh, don't worry. It's a sellout this afternoon. Mascots lined up on the halfway. I'm giving up.
There's a few mascots in there. A whole team.
12, I think. There were 12 mascots, I think. 13. Sorry, I missed one. There's a Sunderland mascot. I think there's 12 Southampton mascots and one Sunderland mascot who's being led off on their own now in isolation, waving at their family in the crowd. Right, the two captains shaking hands, Jack Stevens and Dan Neil. At the moment, Southampton are down below us to the left as we look from the main stand, which is on the riverside of the St Mary's Stadium, the River Itchen over our shoulders. And Sunderland in their yellow with the dark blue sleeves away to our right, and behind Anthony Patterson's goal are the Sunderland fans who've sold out their allocation yet again this afternoon, the long trip from the northeast. And it'll be Southampton with Will Smallbone who's going to get the game underway. Referee Stuart Atwell just taking a glance at his watches, and we'll see how things develop as we're underway. Ball pushed back to Jack Stevens. Almost got himself in a bit of a knot as Burstow closed him down, but he gets the ball back to Gavin Bazunu. We've seen him a lot over the years, the former Manchester City keeper, but he's been out on loan, Rochdale and Portsmouth. And the ball comes back to him, flags up offside against Burstow. And it's a free kick to Southampton, taken quickly by Stevens, back to Bazunu, who, like Patterson, is in light blue, to Smallbone. Stevens pushes it down the right wing here, and it's picked up in midfield by David Brooks, who's on loan from Bournemouth, and played eventually back to Taylor Harwood-Bellis on loan from Manchester City. Out from Bazunu into midfield to Flynn Downs, another loanee, he from West Ham, was at Swansea beforehand.
It's interesting now that they're marking up Sunderland.
I think they're going man to man.
Yeah.
As Brooks tries to swing it down past Helder, it comes back here to Harwood-Bellis, and he's given the ball away to Burstow's, nipped in behind him, and he tried to curl it round the keeper. It's gone well wide of the right post. No conviction.
No
in that
belief.
Shot.
That's no belief in that. What was that?
There was absolutely no conviction from Burstow in that shot. It's curled well wide of the right hand.
See, Jensen is picking up. I think it's Armstrong. Look where he's playing, Jensen.
And he's pushed.
Everywhere he's going, he's going to follow him.
He's going to follow him, isn't he?
Yeah.
As Helder fouls Brooks, and a short pass inside to Downs, looking for Smallbone down the right. He's away from Helder. Helder goes to close him down the right wing, and Smallbone plays it back here to Harwood-Bellis and back into the centre circle, where it's picked up by Jan Bednarek, the Polish international. Played on then down that left-hand wing and then swept in to be cleared by Ballard out into the stand on the far side. Ryan Manning will take the throw. There's a loose ball on the pitch, it's just tapped off it by Chris Rigg. Manning back then onto the halfway line, and it's Bednarek who brings it forward. Stevens laying it off now, looking to try and get on the end of it. Stuart Armstrong wide on the left, Job getting a first touch. In goes Hume, the ball spins out, it's a Sunderland throw. In the 3rd minute, Southampton 0, Sunderland 0, and a reminder that online on the BBC Sport website we have full commentary of Gateshead against Peterborough Sports in the FA Trophy this afternoon with Simon Pride and Paul Dixon. Ball come back here for a throw again. Hume just inside the Sunderland half on the right. Neil trying to get it forward, too many red and white shirts. Play through to Brooks. Armstrong making a run. Brooks still going. Brooks shot. Whistles past the foot of the right post. 18 yards out. That was inches wide.
Inches wide. And you look at Rigg where he's playing further forward, just behind Burstow, and you've got Joe Bellingham and Dan Neil just playing as the deeper midfield players.
See, Mundell's on the right, Barr's on the left this afternoon. Riggs in the centre circle, he's knocked down, fouled by Downs. So, the free kick in the centre circle. They got it moving again quickly, back to Sealt, forwards to Dan Neil, finding the gap. Rigg is, I think he'd have been offside if the contact had been made as he tried to play the ball through the middle. Dan Neil for him.
So they've gone man for man. Look, still it.
Yeah, Sealt's come out straight on to it's Che Adams, isn't it? He's picking up here, and Adams now swung the ball out wide left to Manning. Hume's got to go across and try and cut that, or is it in fact Armstrong, isn't it? Adam Armstrong on that far side. Manning now into the box, comes back though to Bednarek in the centre circle with Harwood-Bellis, and Harwood-Bellis, Adam Armstrong dropping back wide on the left as Sunderland try and win it back again. Strong challenge made by Downs, and a fair one according to the referee. Comes out to Brooks on this right side, and he's overhit his pass, and it'll float behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. So Armstrong sporting a beard on the left of the forward three. Adams is in the middle of the three of them. Here's Brooks closing down Patterson, who plays it out wide to Hume, on towards Rigg, and it's forced out for a throw to Southampton, taken quickly down that left wing by Stuart Armstrong, and it's going to roll behind after Sealt managed to hold off Adam Armstrong. And a goal kick again to Sunderland. They've gone 6 minutes almost, and it's no goals
And sometimes, you know, sometimes we put pressure on ourselves trying to play out from the back.
Again, Patterson has to swing it over David Brooks' head down the left wing. It'll come out here for a throw to Southampton, which Stevens will take quickly. The Devonian signed from Plymouth back in 2011.
Look at Silt.
They're
playing 1v1 at the back. I tell you what, that's very, very brave.
The ball pushed up to the edge of the centre circle. Adams fouled by Ballard.
It's a brave call by Sunderland.
Well, there's Silt's giving chase to Stuart Armstrong, who plays it back now to Ryan Manning, back again as Rigg tries to close down Bednarek. Comes back from him to Bazunu, who passes it out through the middle straight to Dan Ballard in the centre circle. He's taken this on now, slips it to Rigg, trying to find Burstow. Easily cleared. Out comes Downs with this for Southampton to the right wing. Brooks flicks it around Gelder. Neil manages to knock the ball out off of Brooks. It's a throw to Sunderland. And Blackburn won Plymouth 0 in the Championship. Here's Neil. Drives an optimistic ball down the right wing looking for Mundle, headed back by Manning to Bazunu. So the next game for Southampton isn't until Good Friday, when they are here against Middlesbrough, because the postponement now of their game next weekend against Leicester, because Leicester are involved in the FA Cup. So even more emphasis upon Southampton to try and get a result today, with Ipswich losing at lunchtime to Cardiff as Mundle gives chase, but across comes Bednarek, plays it back inside his penalty area to Bazunu, who clears under pressure from Mundle, out to Smallbone, and he's found Brooks, who tried to thread it through, and there's a very angry Stuart Armstrong.
He's going to pull him back.
He's going to show a yellow card to Seal.
You know, we would have won the ball. He's given a free kick away. Silly.
So Seal, only 8 minutes into the game, is now on a yellow card.
Panic. That's what happened, Nick. All of a sudden they picked the ball up. Because they've gone man for man, he's lost his marker, and that's why he's pulled him back.
A perfectly placed ball by David Brooks through the middle, looking for the run of Armstrong. Armstrong tugged back, free kick in a central position. It's a long way out.
Yeah.
Gateshead are leading Peterborough Sports 1-0 in the FA Trophy, a much changed Gateshead team this afternoon. We had the manager, Rob Elliott, in the Total Sport studio on BBC Radio Newcastle on Thursday night. Stuart Atwell marches back 10 yards. Sunderland a long way back behind the 10-yard
look where he's put the mark, and yet we're
right back. Right back on the goal, on the 18-yard line.
Another 5 yards back, push up.
And I am surprised at that, as Will Smallbone just plays it to his right. It's chipped in by Brooks, and it's headed right into the path of Brooks, and then put in by Stuart Armstrong. Right hand side, right in front of Patterson, having made the initial save. The left foot of Stuart Armstrong hooks the ball past Patterson, and Southampton lead in the 9th minute.
Nick, I cannot understand that marking. I really can't. You're just putting pressure on yourself.
Well, I'm as mystified as you. The spray was, as you say, a good 5 yards further ahead of the defensive wall at the edge of the area. The initial header, I think, from Bednarek was saved, and it was just parried right into the face and the foot of Stuart Armstrong. Yeah, Stuart Armstrong.
But it was a poor header from in the first place by Sunderland.
Yeah.
We've headed it back across, but I can't understand how, you know, with 10 yards, yeah, we drop another 5 yards. With 15 yards, we're right back onto the keeper. It's always the time the referee putting the chalk down.
The free kick, set piece, leads to the opener for Southampton. We're only in the 11th minute now, and Southampton have their noses in front. And what we talked about earlier on, the first goal was the critical one. We expect.
Don't concede early, Nick. Don't concede early.
Burstow trying to get up the other end, hooked away by Stevens, and then on the right, picked up by Chris Rigg. Plays it out to the left to Hjelde, again, they have to show character now, Sunderland. Barr trying to get away from Smallbone, who gets a foot to it. Stevens to the goal scorer, Stuart Armstrong, and then out. Finally picked up here on the right-hand side by Stevens again. He brings this out of defence, plays it to Stuart Armstrong, who tried to thread it through the middle for Che Adams, but swept past him. And it's back with Ballard. Crystal Palace 1, Luton 0. Here is Ballard playing to Sealt, back to Patterson. Not been a good opening 10 minutes for Sealt, booked, and then conceding the free kick which led to the goal. Foul on Mundle, I think, or is he given the throw? Throw him.
Yeah.
On the far side, halfway inside the Southampton half. Could be a long afternoon for Sunderland. 12th minute, 1 down. Here's Dan Neil. Che Adams right in front of him, and he's threaded it now through to Chris Rigg. Rigg thinking about having a go, but the block made by Bednarek comes down to Dan Neil. Nicely flighted pass to Barr, who's working hard here down the left of the penalty area and trying to get the ball back here now to Mundle, and it's come out here on the right wing and kept in by Adams, and he's gone past Ballard now. Hjelde's got to come back and try and get hold of him.
Oh, that's a foul.
And a foul on Hjelde by Adams.
That's a foul.
So, free kick to Sunderland on the left, played back inside to Dan Neil. Again, flights one to the right, out to Hume. We're in the 13th minute. Jove with Adam Armstrong on the wing, and Adam Armstrong trying to shake off Joe, plays the ball behind to Ryan Manning. Manning back to Howard Bellis, the 22-year-old from Manchester City, in the centre circle. He lays it off to Bednarek. Wide now to David Brooks, the Welsh international on loan from Bournemouth. Plays it back to Howard Bellis into the centre circle to Bednarek. Forwards to Flynn Downs. Downs plays it back again to Howard Bellis. You know, Southampton have got a goal, they've got something to hold on to here. They can afford to pass the ball around. They play it back to Bednarek, and he plays it wide to Manning, and Manning inside to Stuart Armstrong, back to Bednarek, and Bednarek curls one into the penalty area looking for Smallbone, but headed away by Ballard. Stevens nods it down the right wing to Brooks. Brooks back inside to Stevens.
It's like attack against defence here, Nick.
Yeah.
You know, we cannot concede a second goal. We've got to try to hold out here.
Sunderland just got everybody behind the ball at the moment. Adam Armstrong's on the ball here. He plays it out wide to Stuart Armstrong, and it's a cross from the left from Adam Armstrong, and it will bounce away for a throw to Sunderland in the corner on the left. So
you answer this question: why was this defending so deep? The free kick, he's put the marker down.
I'm as puzzled as you. I mentioned it straight away, didn't I? As soon as I saw the spray, and I couldn't understand why
so deep.
They're sat on the edge of the penalty area. Norwich 1, Rotherham 0. Here's Bednarek, comes back into his own half, draws Burstow, plays it wide to Smallbone, lets it run through, but Hjelde is able to play this right back up through to Bazunu. His big right hand stretches out and manages to stop it from going behind for a corner. Gavin Bazunu drops the ball towards the edge of his penalty area. The two defenders either side of him, Bednarek and Howard Bellis, out to Stevens, right in front of Russell Martin, heads it out. Hjelde with the throw for Sunderland in their yellow as it comes back here to Dan Ballard. Ballard, as Adams slips, Ballard brings it out up to Burstow on the halfway line, but he's robbed quite easily by Smallbone. Cut out by Jobe as he tried to play the ball through. Howard Bellis just nods it down then to Stevens, back to Howard Bellis, then Downs, back to Stevens. Stevens inside to Bednarek. And back to the goalkeeper Bazunu in the 16th minute now at the edge of his own penalty area. It's Southampton 1, Sunderland 0. The ball floats out for a throw from the goalkeeper to Sunderland. Hjelde will take this, back it goes to Ballard. Ballard to Anthony Patterson in his light blue, away to our right. You can hear still the Sunderland supporters.
Oh, you've got to go to the ball.
The ball's given away in front of Burstow to Stevens, but he's lost it to Neil. Out to Hume. Wide. Slips it down the right wing to Mundell, who's taking on Bednarek. Comes off Bednarek for a throw to Sunderland. Hume, 20 yards or more, a couple of yards more than that on the right from the corner. With the throw, Mundell makes a run. It's played into the edge of the area, and it comes from Burstow into the path of Bednarek. Now Manning back to Bednarek, who plays it to Bazunu. Burstow went to close him down. Hull 1, Leicester 0, and Hjelde loses the ball, but it's a free kick. Foul by Smallbone. Brooks is having a word with Stuart Atwell, but the referee's given the free kick to Sunderland left side of midfield, halfway inside the Southampton half. Stuart Atwell calls Barr to throw the ball back a few yards. Dan Neal's going to take the free kick. Russell Martin's having an argument with the fourth official, Ed Duckworth, about something or other. Barr trying to take this inside now from the left. Down the left of the penalty area, almost on the goal line, just rolls it harmlessly into the hands of Bazunu. And Southampton, no, they just wait for Bazunu to roll it out through the middle. Stuart Armstrong leaves it for Will Smallbone on the right, and wide right, Brooks. Back he goes to Bazunu. Draws Burstow, but he plays it out to Downs. Job tries to press, back to Bednarek. Manning, back to Bednarek. Rigg chasing, cleared again. Flick of the head from Adam Armstrong, out on the left. It's put forward by Che Adams, but it will come back all the way through to Patterson. Hume is in the middle now, coming out to his left under pressure from Adam Armstrong. Comes out wide again and gets it up to
you've got to get in
Stevens
your body.
Gets in front of him again.
Twice.
Stevens now through to Adam Armstrong, looking for Che Adams, but cut out by Sealt, only as far as Adam Armstrong, and now it's being teed up on the left, and down goes Patterson, but the ball goes round off a touch from a defender from Stuart Armstrong again for another corner. It's the first corner to Southampton. They were almost teeing up players one by one to have a go.
Mason Burstow's got to be stronger. That's twice to play the ball into his feet, and he's not been able to retain the ball. His retention of the ball, he's let the defender come round him and nick the ball.
Stuart was striding back into the 6-yard box for a word with Adam Armstrong and Chris Rigg, who are together in the 6-yard box in front of Anthony Patterson. Smallbone is down in the corner.
Concentration.
Brooks has come back for a quick word. Smallbone then from the right with this first corner of the match. Swings in, it's headed out by Ballard and to the edge of the penalty area, where it's laid off down the left by Downs. It's pulled back to Stuart Armstrong, blocked by Rigg, his shot from 18 yards out to Barr, and Barr is blocked and the ball out for a throw to Sunderland on the right. 20th minute, Southampton lead 1-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Hume across to take the throw. We've not lost heart, the Sunderland fans. And I always remember that 8-0 here. You know, despite that 8-0 defeat, when they're all offered their money back, Sunderland fans basically turned around and said, look, that's not what we do it for. No. Everywhere we go, it's to watch our team and get behind them, whatever the result. Gateshead now 2-0 up against Peterborough Sports. And Norwich 2, Rotherham 0 in the Championship. Free kick to Sunderland. Sealt with this just outside the penalty area. Plays it back into Neil in the middle. Adams on his shoulder. Back to Patterson to clear. And it's over the halfway line. Brought down quite neatly by Burstow. He takes it wide. Plays it back behind him to Hume. Inside to Job. Job back to Ballard. and Ballard now out wide to Hjelde on the left-hand side. Hjelde blocked by Harwood Bellis. Out the ball goes for a throw to Sunderland on this left side, and it's the Southampton substitutes warming up down below us. The applause. Watford 1, Coventry 0. Neil plays the ball back from the touchline. The Palloys played the ball out to Stuart Armstrong, right through to Adam Armstrong, and he's put it over the bar. They were onto that like a shot, Southampton, and Adam Armstrong, edge of the area, with his left foot, has driven it over the crossbar.
Should have been 2. And again, Patterson, you know, we say it time and time again, that was a poor clearance from him.
Well, straight to Stuart Armstrong. So it remains 1-0, thankfully. It's beholden really on Sunderland to keep the score down. And there's a bit of a loving going on down below us amongst the substitutes, with Sekou Mara, I think it is, who's being greeted by Pierre Ekwa and Pembele and Adil Aushish, the French Foreign Legion down below us on the touchline, as Adam Armstrong swings an amazing ball across the whole of the pitch down to Brooks on the right side of the Sunderland penalty area. He takes it inside, he tries to curl one to the far post where Stuart Armstrong was waiting, and it's dropped on the left side to Che Adams at the penalty area. He's looking for an opening. He finds David Brooks, who chips one in. It's headed away by Sealt out to Barr on the left-hand side here. We are a quarter of the way through the game, and it's Charlton 0, Carlisle 1 in League One. And it's another Armstrong, Luke Armstrong, who scored for Carlisle this afternoon. Here's Harwood Bellis. Harwood Bellis halfway inside the Sunderland half to David Brooks, threading it through to Stuart Armstrong, trying to tee up Che Adams.
Great tackle.
Sealt got his foot to it on the 6-yard line. It's a corner.
Excellent challenge by
a brilliant challenge, because that was the goal if he hadn't done that.
That would have been 2.
That would unequivocally have been 2-0. So Smallbone down to take the corner again for Southampton on the right-hand side. And Brooks again down the left of him on this Southampton right is swept in by Smallbone. The heads go up, it drops here for Sealt, who hooks it out from the penalty spot. And it's now Gateshead 3, Peterborough Sports 0 in the FA Trophy. The changes made by Rob Elliott fully justified by the looks of things. Are the changes made by Mike Dodds justified? Well, only the result will tell us. They're still in the game at 1-0. Here's Manning to Adam Armstrong. The pattern is a little bit like Tuesday night, wasn't it? Going down to the early goal, not letting the heads drop, but Leicester finally allowed Sunderland really much back into the game. But at the moment, Sunderland are struggling to find a foothold in this game. Brooks trying to get it inside. Ballard manages to intercept, back to Sealt, just at the back of the centre circle.
Oh, a poor pass.
Given away to Downs. Downs now, Adam Armstrong ahead of him. Adam Armstrong now on the shoulder of Hume. Edge of the penalty area, low shot. It's rolled past David Brooks, who I thought was a little bit sluggish in his reaction, actually, because he could have run onto that.
He could have.
But for some reason he didn't.
Another mistake. Nearly punished for Nick.
Do wonder, the more misses that Southampton have, the wonder it's going to be possibly Sunderland's afternoon, whether they are going to get something from this game.
They've got to stop. They've got to cut the mistakes out first, isn't it?
Yeah. 25th minute, Patterson with a kick drives this up into the Southampton half. Manning heads it out. Throw to Sunderland just back inside their half on the right. Hume's going to take it, urging players to try and get forwards, and Hume finds Joe. Joe brings it down, back behind to Sealt, wide, back to Patterson. Patterson has Ballard in his penalty area, and he passes it to him, and through to Dan Neil in midfield in the middle, and Neil turns in front of Che Adams and plays it wide to Trey Hume, just short of halfway, back behind him again to Jensen Seelt. Seelt back to Patterson again. Kicks it wide left, straight to Smallbone. Heads it on now to Brooks down this right-hand side. Hjelde goes to close him down. Brooks plays it back down to Harwood-Bellis on the halfway line wide and plays it back to Bazunu. Bazunu, short pass through to Stevens. Jack Stevens, 30 years old now. Last season was spent just down the coast at Bournemouth on loan. Back to Bazunu. And Bazunu kicks us a little bit longer, up to halfway, looking for Brooks, heads it out, throw to Sunderland. A little bit of rain in the air, I think. No, a little bit forecast this afternoon. Ballard plays it back to Patterson, drives this out. Burstow heads it on. Bednarek will get to the ball ahead of Rigg. Rigg still gives chase. Bazunu kicks it right through the middle, up to Jensen Seelt. Seelt then to Hume on the right-hand side in the yellow of Sunderland. Picked up by Mundle. Mundle back to Seelt. Seelt squares it to Ballard. And then forwards Neil managed to get on the end of it before Downs did, but then coming through the middle is Bednarek. He just takes Neil out of the game. Advantage play because Burstow's picked the ball up, found Hume and out to Mundle. But Bednarek should have been penalised for that. Ball. And the ball's played right through the penalty area. And behind for a goal kick. I mean, that in the Bednarek off the ball just pushed Neil to the floor. Referee's seen it and has not had a word with Bednarek.
Not had a word, no.
It's Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 1. Bazunu kicks through the middle. Harrogate 1, Crawley 0, and the ball now with Barr on the left-hand side. One back by Hjelde, but it's lost again, and here's Harwood-Bellis on the right-hand side, inside again to Downs. Downs leaves it for Brooks, wide on the right touchline, and Job's all over Downs. The ball's out for a throw. Hjelde takes it back to Job, and Job threads it through the middle.
Good pass.
Rigg trying to get on with it. Burster getting on the end of the loose ball, but again Stevens tidying up. Tapped out by Harwood-Bellis to Downs here on the right-hand side, and in fact Stuart Armstrong, and he swings it right up looking for Adam Armstrong on the shoulder of Seelt. Adam Armstrong trying to shield the ball from Seelt, turning it inside now to Ryan Manning, through in the penalty area. It runs away from Smallbone, back to Anthony Patterson. 29th minute, Southampton 1, Sunderland 0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Ballard taps the ball to Job in their own penalty area, then to Seelt. Seelt wide to Mundle. Mundle under pressure from Stuart Armstrong, can't get the ball out, but it comes off Stuart Armstrong for a throw to Sunderland. Halfway inside the Sunderland half. Hume finds Job. Job with Stuart Armstrong behind him. Lays it off to Seelt, up to Burstow, finds a little tap through to Barr. Barr now, Burstow calling for the ball, but Burstow will have to wait because it's played out to Hjelde on the left wing, back to Barr. Barr now, into the middle, Mundle, Smallbone, a little nudge in the back, but Rigg picks up the ball, plays it behind him to Job, looking for the run of Hume into the penalty area. Hume trying to tee up Burstow, now trying to tee him up again. Off the post, comes out to Dan Neil, bobbles off his head, and in the end Barr's shot deflected, ricocheted out here to Hjelde, back down to Barr. Barr trying to take it back into the penalty area, dribbling at the defender Harwood-Bellis, gets the ball back off Harwood-Bellis after a little bit of a push, back out to Hjelde, Neil just behind him, and Neil back again now to Ballard and Seelt, and Southampton slowly pushing Sunderland back out again after Burstow hitting the post on a tight angle, and the ball cut out for Rigg by Bednarek, played to Downs. Downs now looking for the run of Brooks. Brooks tackled by Ballard, a chase for Adams. Adams out to the right hand side here looking for the run of Brooks. Offside. Free kick to Sunderland.
But just going back to Burstow, he's done well there. He's got his shot away, he's come back off the post.
Bit unlucky. Still 1-0 to Southampton, and Ballard at the back to Seelt to his right, back to Patterson. 15 minutes of the first half left. The ball floats high onto the head of Manning. Nods it down to Stuart Armstrong, back to Manning and back to the goalkeeper, Bazunu. Irish international Gavin Bazunu, out to Jack Stevens. He plays it wide to David Brooks, over the head of Smallbone, who'll give chase with Dan Neil on his shoulder. Smallbone holds it off Dan Neil, trying to tap it back into the path of David Brooks. The flag stays down, but the referee's seen a foul and a yellow card for Ballard. Norwich 3, Rotherham 0. Dan Ballard now joins Sealt in Stuart Atwell's book. Free kick right on the edge of the Sunderland penalty area on the right.
Where we're going to pick up this time, where we're going to hold our line on the goal line.
Well, let's watch where he puts the spray. He's asking Mundle and Hjelde to come back behind the white line, which they do this time with Rigg. 3 in the wall. I don't really, from the angle that we're at, it doesn't look like 10 yards to me, but that's where the spray's been applied. It's Smallbone and Brooks over the free kick. Southampton lead 1-0. We're in the 32nd minute at the moment. Hull 1, Leicester 1. Who's going to have a who fancies this one? David Brooks or
Smallbone?
Smallbone.
Oh no, Brooks.
It's David Brooks trying to curl this in straight at Patterson. Got his body right behind it. Saw that all the way through Anthony Patterson. So 1-0 it remains, and the ball rolled out to the right, to the left wing to Hjelde, back to Patterson to find Burstow, heads on, nobody there. Bednarek wide to Smallbone on the halfway line. Smallbone back again to Bazunu. And forwards through the middle. Downs back to Bazunu. Out to Stevens. Forwards again to Adams. Who's, well, he is clutching the back of his ankle after Ballard's tackle from behind. But play goes on. Burstow's low shot dragged wide. Downs is trying to say to the referee
that there was a foul on him.
That was a foul on Adams. Adams is back up on his feet now. So he's just walking away, slightly pained, I think, by the way, just sort of paused. He's going to walk it off. Stuart Atwell blows for Southampton to get a move on with the goal kick. And 2 either side of the 6-yard box in the angle. It's tapped inside to Bazunu, and he drives it straight up through the middle. Hume nods it. Cushioned header straight down to David Brooks, comes back through to Hume, to Job, chase for Sealt, it'll go out. Over on the far side, the Southampton left, quick throw taken by Manning, looking to try and get Adam Armstrong away, I think. In fact, Stuart Armstrong trying to get Manning away, and Manning now takes the throw for Stuart Armstrong, and Stuart Armstrong crosses to the far post. It'll land safely enough in the outstretched arms, the hands of Patterson, and Patterson pauses a moment, just rolls the ball to the feet of Dan Ballard. He passes it to the right to Sealt, and out to Hume, driven up towards Burstow, fouled right in front of Stuart Atwell by Jack Stevens, just short of the halfway line. 35th minute. Job over the ball, will tap it back to Dan Ballard. Ballard, short pass inside to his left to Neil. Then Ballard out to Sealt, blocked, throw to Sunderland on the right, back in the Sunderland half. It's the Southampton the substitutes warming up down below us as the ball comes back here through to Bednarek, back to Bazunu, edge of the area, short pass played through, now out to Stevens in midfield, and then Stuart Armstrong. It's an overhit pass for Adam Armstrong, for a throw to Sunderland on the right. Hume to Silt, back to Silt. Silt now, Adams on his shoulder, swings his foot through it, up into the middle, headed on by Harwood Bellis. Comes back out from Sunderland down the right to Mundle, inside to Hume, comes off of Downs, picked up on the left by Stuart Armstrong, slips it through here now. Oh, is that a penalty?
Penalty.
The referee's going to give a penalty here. Manning tripped up on the goal line. He took a look at it, Stuart Atwell, and he's awarded Southampton the penalty in the 37th minute.
Is that Chris Rigg?
I think it's Rigg.
Yeah.
It was a clumsy challenge at best, really. And it's Adam Armstrong who's going to take the penalty kick. Just before half-time, this really wasn't what Sunderland needed. They wanted to try and get to the break. At the very least 1-0, if not scoring and equalised themselves. But it's Adam Armstrong against Anthony Patterson. Away to our right, in front of the Sunderland fans, Adam Armstrong from Newcastle, his arms by his side, waits for the referee's whistle. There it is, and Adam Armstrong with the right foot drills it home. He runs to the Sunderland fans with his hand to his ear, cupping his ear in front of the Sunderland fans as he runs past them.
Yeah, he would enjoy scoring that one, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Indeed.
So Southampton now lead, heading into half-time, 2-0. Dan Neil involved in an argument, Job's involved as well. Now what's happened here?
He's asking a bit about they've said, well, it's the linesman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it the movement, or there was something that they weren't happy with?
Notwithstanding, Southampton are 2-0 up, now in the 39th minute. Adam Armstrong's 18th goal of the season.
Got a mountain to climb, Nick.
It's a huge mountain to climb.
Yeah.
You know, you always felt 1-0, at least they could try and get themselves back in the game, but 2-0 now. A lot to ask of this Sunderland team. David Brooks trying to get it down the right, out it goes for a throw to Southampton. They take it quickly, trying to get Stuart Armstrong through. Silt gets there first, but puts it out for a throw to Southampton. I have to say that Stuart Armstrong has been all over the place for Southampton, very much involved from midfield, that member of the Armstrong clan. It's back to Bazunu, who clears the ball out wide on the left-hand side. It's put inside now to Stuart Armstrong, inside his own half. Back to Bednarek. Bednarek finds Smallbone, who lays it off to Stevens. Burstow made a challenge, but it will run back to Bednarek. Rigg goes to close him down. Stevens back to Bazunu, passes it to Manning. Manning now wide on the left, looking for Adam Armstrong. And he comes back past Mundle and will play it back to goalkeeper Bazunu. Bazunu drives it through the middle to Che Adams. Ballard gets a foot to it, finds Hume just ahead of him. Hume now looking to try and get forwards, but he finds Rigg. Now Mundle at the edge of the penalty area, goes down, gets up quickly to try and win the ball. It comes out to Job, lays it off to Dan Neil, quickly closed down. He plays it to Hjelde. He crosses. Mundle gets his head on it, but straight at Bazunu. Good attempt.
Trey better.
But unfortunately right at the keeper. From 17 yards. One off the post and one saved by Bazunu. That's the sum of things for Sunderland. But Stuart Armstrong's 9th minute goal and a penalty from Adam Armstrong in the 38th minute is the sum of things for Southampton. As we approach half-time, Adam Armstrong battling, leaves it for Smallbone, forwards to Downs back from halfway to Adam Armstrong again, and then out wide, Stuart Armstrong back to Ryan Manning, the Irish international, signed from Swansea in the summer. Plays it over the top for Adams, trying to get in front of Ballard, holding Ballard off at the moment, laying it off to David Brooks just inside the penalty area, trying to tee a ball up through, but Neil has managed to get the ball off him.
Well done.
And he's won a free kick. Dan Neil did well there, stood his ground, held off the Southampton attack. Now he's got the ball through to Rigg in the centre circle. Rigg being forced wide, finds Barr here. Burstow making a run through the middle, so is Mundle. Barr taking it into the penalty area, onto his left, onto his right. It's pushed behind. It's a corner to Sunderland's, their first of the game. Mundle's coming down to take this in the 42nd minute. Flings the ball down. Charlton won, Carlisle won in League One. Mundle then down in the corner on this left-hand side to take this Sunderland corner. They could pull one back now, just before half-time. It's taken short to Barr. Barr. Mundle makes a run into the box. It's played back to Dan Neil in the middle. And he will shoot well wide. Watford 1, Coventry 1. And here's Bazunu. Again, with the ball at his feet, the Southampton keeper. Flicks it with his hand to Bednarek, who just places it just inside the left side of the 6-yard box and taps it back to Bazunu.
So you look at Jensen Sillett, he's just marking Armstrong. They've gone 1v1 at the back, haven't they? Sillett's brave.
Well, he's up in the centre circle at the moment on the shoulder of Stuart Armstrong. Wide is Adam Armstrong, out on the left wing with nobody picking him up. It's wide on the right though for Southampton. Downs back to Adams. Adams back to Harwood Bellis. And if anyone's going to pick up Adam Armstrong, it's going to have to be Hume, as Adam Armstrong goes and hugs the touchline wide on the left, through to Stuart Armstrong, Stevens, and back to Bednarek. Then Harwood Bellis in the centre circle, and then to Bednarek. Armstrong has made, he's staying wide and let Ryan Manning go up through the middle, and now it's with Harwood Bellis looking for the run of Adam Armstrong at the corner of the penalty area. He nods it back into the path here of Stevens, who puts it wide on the left post. The centre-back just driving through from midfield and volleying it wide of the left post.
Does he give offside?
No, don't think so, did he?
Yeah.
Right. Free kick then at the edge of the penalty area. Ballard clears. Mundle heads it on, bounces through to Bednarek. 44th minute. Southampton 2, Sunderland 0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Bednarek laying it off to Smallbone in the centre circle. Back to Stevens, then Harwood Bellis inside to Bednarek. Out to the left to Manning. And back inside to the pole. 54 caps for Jan Bednarek for Poland, and he brings the ball slowly up to the halfway line, lays it off to his left to Manning. Adam Armstrong making a run. Smallbone as well as offside. Flags up. Adams was inside waiting to stab it past Patterson, but it'll be a free kick to Sunderland in the last minute of the 45. Ed Duckworth just leaning casually onto the indicator board on the touchline. Neil out to Hjelde in front of him. Hjelde back to Dan Neil. Neil through straight to the path of Downs, then one back by Neil, intercepting it before it reached Che Adams. Then to Hume, and out wide on the right hand side. Mundle now trying to get the ball in the box here for Rigg. Cut out though by Bednarek. We've got 3 minutes. We're into the first of those 3 minutes now. As the ball comes out on the left-hand side, it's played inside, eventually to Che Adams, then to Stuart Armstrong, lays it off to Smallbone here on the break. Smallbone, David Brooks wants it played to the right-hand side. He does so. Brooks into the penalty area, tries to curl one past Patterson, but it goes down to the right, makes a save. Comfortable save, really, in the end. Yeah. And Adams picking himself up, dusting himself down, and the ball played out by Ballard to Dan Neil. Neil out wide to Hjelde. Gelder over halfway, still wide, Smallbone in front of him, trying to stab it away, but he's got it through to Harwood-Bellis, then Brooks
Too
inside
easy.
to Downs on halfway, taking it into the Sunderland half. Adams now gets it wide to Brooks, back to Smallbone, back again to Harwood-Bellis, and Rotherham are going through the ringer these last few weeks. Norwich 4, Rotherham 0 in the first half, shipping goals for like confetti. Is the ball played out here through the middle to Downs from Bednarek. Downs now looking for Adams' run, but it's run ahead of him. Ballard's got in front of Adams, and it's back to Patterson. In the 47th minute, Patterson rolls the ball to Ballard. Ballard out into the middle to Jobe, under pressure from Downs, comes back to Ballard. Edge of his area, pushing it out to Barr in the middle. Harwood-Bellis goes to close him down immediately. Loose ball won by Jobe. Again, loose ball picked up by David Brooks. Brooks trying to get away. Rigg tries to tackle him. It's gone through to Adam Armstrong, edge of the penalty area. He shoots. Down goes Patterson. Another save from Patterson. 48th minute, the last minute of the first half. Patterson's had a lot to handle in terms of the ball this afternoon. It's come back out to Gelder on the left-hand side, just shy of the halfway line, inside to Dan Neal. Neal in the middle to Jobe. Jobe then to Sealt. Sealt over the halfway line, looks for Mundle down the right wing, and Mundle want to come round. Stuart Armstrong slips it to Hume in the middle, and it's blocked his pass through by Bednarek. Out to Adam Armstrong, Jobe in front of him. Adam Armstrong takes it wide, plays it back to Bednarek. Bednarek tackled by Jobe. It breaks though for Stevens, plays it forwards to Adam Armstrong, back to Downs. Downs lays it off to Stevens. About 10 seconds of the half left. In the centre circle, Harwood-Bellis back to Downs to the right here, and played forwards by Stevens to Brooks, back to Bazunu. Quite a vicious pass back, but Bazunu, as the half-time whistle blows, lays the ball away, and at the break, Southampton go in 2-0 to the good. Stuart Armstrong after 9 minutes, and Adam Armstrong a penalty in the 38th minute. And as you said, it's an uphill struggle now for Sunderland.
It is, Nick, and yes, we've had a couple of opportunities, but overall, you've got to say Southampton, when we're looking at it, are playing in second gear, aren't they? As you've just mentioned there, Patterson's had to make 3 or 4 saves. They just, whenever they want to play, whenever they want to get behind, whenever they want to get through, they do. You're just thinking, we are not playing with any form of urgency, trying to put them under any pressure at all.
Well, there we go, the half time is up.
Both on yellow cards as well. It puts an extra added pressure on Sunderland at the back. Difficult to see what they can change.
Oh dear me. Hello, welcome back in L12 Bong. This formation's not working. Why play Jobe or Ring over Ekwa midfield? Yeah, Leo Metcalf, hello. Yeah, it's always about a minute and a bit. Well, I'm not behind. The Sunderland commentary, Newcastle might be behind if you're watching it on any of the Fire Stick or whatever, but Jonathan Mark, Leicester played in first gear, Southampton in second, we're in reverse.
And you've got to say Southampton at the present moment are playing in second gear. You look at the first goal, it was a silly free kick to give away. But then, after that, you're thinking, okay, we've given a free kick, set yourself upright.
Just off the radio, mate. Can't do any visuals because of copyright, fella.
There. But then we drop another, what, 5 or 6 yards?
Don't we? Yeah.
Okay, we drop another 5 or 6 yards.
Are you ready for the socials, guys?
The ball comes into the box. The header was a poor header. We've headed it back in.
Right, Mike Elliott says, abysmal. Shea Gofton says, every player we have bought is poor. Colin Wright, to be honest, they could have had about 6 need changes at half time, but he won't do it. Just remember that this is our model. Many games, boys, relegation battle next, League One incoming, at least we're consistent. What do people expect? Stop whinging. Southampton Leicester, we've just played the league's probably best side. We need to get a grip. Crap, what a crap, nothing up front at all. Job isn't good enough, but won't be tough because he's Speakman and Dodds' love child. If this one doesn't stop soon, we are getting dragged into that relegation fight. I'm scrolling down, relegation is getting mentioned a hell of a lot.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Dominic James back in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio, half time. Southampton to Sunderland.
Well, we're on our way.
Back to St Mary's for second half commentary shortly. Let's run you through some of the other scores from around the country. We'll begin in the Premier League. Manchester United beat Everton 2-0 in the lunchtime kickoff.
Could we go down if we did lose every game? And I'm just talking fairy tale. If we did lose every game, could we go down?
Palace leading Luton by a goal to 0. And Wolves against Fulham is goalless. The late kick-off in the Premier League today is Arsenal versus Brentford. That kicks off at 5:30.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And in the Championship then, in the lunchtime kick-off, a miraculous turnaround for Cardiff as they beat Ipswich 2-1. 2 goals in the 95th and in the 10th minute of added on time there. So 2 late goals to give Cardiff a 2-1 lead over Ipswich. Into the 3 o'clock, so Blackburn leads Plymouth 1-0. It's 1-1 between Hull and Leicester City. Goalless between Millwall and Birmingham. Norwich 4-0 up over Rotherham at home. Goalless between Preston Stoke. Also goalless between QPR and Middlesbrough Southampton, as we already know, lead Sunderland by 2 goals to 0. And the only other game in the Championship today is Watford versus Coventry. That's 1-1 at half time.
Total Sport North East.
The Newcastle and Sunderland AFC podcast
on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well then,
into League One then.
No, we don't play Huddersfield. They've played us twice and beat us, haven't they?
0 Lincoln 1, Blackpool 0, Portsmouth 0. Bristol Rovers 0.
Well, whoever plays us guaranteed 3 points. I can see we ain't just beating us. At Stadium High.
Scores there. Cambridge.
Rotherham.
Northampton by a goal to 0. Carlisle are away to Charlton. It's 1-1 at half time. Exeter losing at home. Bolton Wanderers leading there 1-0. Oxford 1-0 up over Cheltenham. Shrewsbury 1-0 up away to Port Vale. Wickham winning on the road as well. At the minute they are 1-0 up over Reading. And Stevenage 0, Fleetwood at Town 0. The only other game in League One today is Wigan versus Leyton Orient. That's goalless too.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
To League Two then, Accrington Stanley are losing 3-0 at home. Bradford City 3-0 up there at half time. It's Barrow 1, Colchester United 0, Doncaster Rovers 1, Crew 0. Goalless between Forest Green and Walsall. Tranmere 1-0 up away to Gillingham. Harrogate lead Crawley Town 1-0 at Mansfield. 1-0 up over Swindon. MK Dons, of course.
My mate Brett Gibbs says Proctor out, Harvey out, Speakman out, Satori out, KLD out, KLD's Gimper brother out, Dave Jones out, Drain the Swamp. My mate's just text me. He's a season ticket holder.
County and Newport County. And the only other game in League 2 today is Sutton versus Grimsby.
We can't hide for long. I mean, it's good. No. I mean, the summer's going to be the pivotal moment. What we're bringing in the first 10 games of next season. That's going to be pivotal. If KLD's still here.
It's a big Gators. They are up against Peterborough Sports in the FA Trophy quarter-final. Got full match commentary, of course, via the BBC Sport website. And that's Simon Pride and Paul Dixon on commentary duties for us this afternoon. And I think Gateshead fans could be dreaming of Wembley, Simon.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And nothing can go wrong now, can it? This is Gateshead. But I think, yeah, so far, so good, to say the least here at Gateshead, because they lead by 3 goals to 0 at half-time against Peterborough Sports. And it's Dejon Brown, the man who is doing the damage, the man on loan, the 18-year-old.
Nice one, Dale.
From Derby County. He's got a first-half hat-trick. He slid the ball home in just the 7th minute of the game.
Let's catch up with some of these comments here. Leicester, Jonathan says Leicester played in first gear, Southampton second gear in reverse. James says, do you have the visuals of the game I've answered that? No, Topsy T, mate, there's every chance we can still go down. David Surtees, the fact of losing every game from now is just unbearable to think about, even if we do or don't go down. But with this team, it seems to be likely. Topsy says, we need 9 points to be certain of Championship football. Some people are saying to me it's just 3 points. Dale says we may as well put up all strikers on and pass to them for a change, depending on one player always ends up like this. Look, when Loch Ness was off, Topsy, and that's with us not looking over our shoulders. Unbelievably true, says James. Topsy T, can anyone see us honestly getting anything from the remaining games? Packer, Acker, Andrew, what's Sunderland playing? What is Sunderland playing at here? We all know what Dale's going to be doing. Topsy only if we play 4-3-5. John Terry here. How are you doing, John Terry? Predicted our demise with 9 men. Job, apart from gifting Southampton the first goal, has been atrocious. Birdstore, not much better. Dodgy has to take this pair off now. I doubt anyone will notice if we did. Well, will Dodgy grow a pair and get them off? Cheers everybody for your comments though, thank you.
There to set up for a feisty second half. Dunstan, they're supposed to be at home to Belper today. They lead 1-0.
And cheers.
But they're playing in Brickhouse. Make that make sense.
Cheers for your other 2 subscribers now. That's 1,893 subscribers. My next goal is to get to 2,000 subscribers. We're on our way. Thank you guys.
Thing to bring you non-league wise today is the Berwick Rangers are at home to Gretna and lead by a 1-0.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Danielle Banks has written a pop song protesting against potholes. So I want to know, what would you write your protest song about? Amanda in Sunderland.
People who eat with their mouths open and have bad table manners, and then let the children inherit their bad table manners.
Alan's on the phone. What's yours?
Those lovely drivers who like to drive either in the middle or the outside lane, not overtaking anything, sort of 55, 60 miles an hour, and they just sit there.
It'll go to number 1, Alan.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Dominic James back in the BBC Radio Newcastle. Very shortly for second half commentary of Southampton versus Sunderland. Sunderland trailing by 2-0 at the break today. Elsewhere, though, in cricket, and India have thrashed England by innings and 64 runs in the 5th and final test in Dharamshala to win the series 4-1. On a positive note, James Anderson became the first fast bowler to take 700 wickets. The 41-year-old, only the 3rd player to reach that milestone. Rugby Union, and there was a friendly last night for Newcastle Falcons. They're away to the Sale Sharks and won 31-28 there. Could that be the start of their revitalisation for them this season? That hasn't been going too well, but hopefully they can kick on from that result. In the Six Nations today, earlier Italy were against Scotland into the final stages of that one. Italy lead Scotland 31-22, but at 4:45, so 45 minutes or so, England take on Ireland, and here's the England head coach Steve Borthwick previewing that one.
Firstly, let's be clear about Ireland. Right now, I think we'd all agree they're the best team in the world. Might not have won the World Cup, but right now, the way they're playing, the way they've been playing through the first period of this championship, the best team in the world. One aspect of their attack is probably the best in the world. Now, it's going against the defence that wants to put people under an awful lot of pressure. And so we're going to be really tested there. And I'm looking forward to seeing our defence under this test. Now, quite clearly, playing against Ireland, if they're allowed to get into their rhythm, then they're a very strong side.
That is the England head coach Steve Borthwick there, speaking ahead of England versus Ireland.
I think we need someone in ASAP to get a bounce off these players. Like, I do agree. Dale Boyd, this is just not on. I reckon any one of us could do a better job. James, to quote Shakespeare, "'Tis a bit of barren." We were running for a cliff. I think it was him. Dale's also said, "I wonder if they ask the players if they fancy a win and leave the yes players out." They never wanted us out in the 3rd division.
In the WBBL Championship earlier today, the Durham Palatinate were at home to the Caledonia Gladiators, and they lost 69-41. And then the Essex Rebels have just got underway with the Newcastle Eagles ice hockey tomorrow. The Whitley Warriors are away to the D-Sided Dragons. That face-off is at 5.
A lot of fans are saying, you know, get Dodds out now and get someone who get an experience, a manager, a high-profile manager or something in now.
6-3 against Bertram's Romeo Grebeck yesterday. He's also just beaten Danny Noppert in the second round just a few minutes ago. So Boxing and Anthony Joshua says he'd like the opportunity to face Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk after his win last night over Francis Ngannou, a brutal knockout in Riyadh last night. Time for us then to head back to the St Mary's for second half commentary of Southampton versus Sunderland in the company of Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
As Will Sporbone just plays it to his right, it's chipped in by Brooks, and it's headed right into the path for Brooks, and then put in by Stuart Armstrong. Right hand side, right in front of Patterson, having made the initial save. The left foot of Stuart Armstrong hooks the ball past Patterson, and Southampton lead in the 9th minute. Inside to Hume, comes off of Downs, picked up on the left by Stuart Armstrong, slips it through here now. Oh, is that a penalty? The referee's going to give a penalty here. Adam Armstrong from Newcastle, his arms by his side, waits for the referee's whistle. There it is, and Adam Armstrong with the right foot drills it home, and he runs to the Sunderland fans with his hand to his ear, cupping his ear in front of the Sunderland fans as he runs past them.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Get Big Sam in, says Billy.
Radio Newcastle.
Well, it turns out that the one towards the end of the half where that penalty was taken, we wondered what the dispute was with the Sunderland players, the assistant, the referee. A double touch by Adam Armstrong for the penalty. It's apparently clear. It was shown on the big screens, and a lot of people now, sort of confirming that Adam Armstrong took a double touch. Ultimately,
Slappy, hello mate, how are you doing? He needs Colin John Kane.
They've gone 2-0. It's a lot to ask for Sunderland to.
Am I making any subs? I mean, I would get Roos and O'Shea on. I'd get Job off. I'd get Birdstow off. Too late now, but I mean, it might just give us that extra bit of flair. We seem to play better when them two come on.
And the worry for me is that
he needs Colin Joanne Kerr in as support role, like Terry Venables was to Brian Robson at the very best. So, James, yes, I think you're right. I do remember something about the stills from Wordsworth. Right, so it's time for me to mute myself and let the second half begin.
Penalty incident because he just pointed back up to the big screens which are above either end, above each goal. Sunderland defending the goal to our left now at the moment in their yellow with blue sleeves, and Southampton defending the goal to our right. And, behind them are all the Sunderland fans as Dan Neil gets the second half underway. The ball pushed back and then cleared right down the left wing looking for Burstow. It's headed out for a Sunderland throw.
I tell you what, who we could do with, Nick.
Carlos Edwards.
No, Gordon Armstrong.
Yes, probably right.
Because there's two Armstrongs who scored. Maybe Gordon might score for us.
Oh, if only. Team of the past.
The Armstrong show.
So here's Job playing the ball out wide. Hume looking for the run of Mundle. He sprints onto it down the right of the penalty area. Shoved in the back. Down he goes. No foul, says the referee. Manning brings the ball out. Slips it inside to Downs. No changes to either team at half time. Sunderland, Patterson, Hume, Ballard, Sealton, Hjelde, Neil, Rigg, Barr, Job, Mundle and Burstow. On the bench, Bishop, Pembele, Hamir, Rusin, Aushish, Equa, Styles, Lavery and Jones, Harrison Jones. And now with Rigg, crashes in to Che Adams, but Adam Armstrong now on the left wing for Southampton. Swings a ball in, looking for David Brooks, but it's behind him and cleared by Hjelde, out through Dan Neil in midfield. And then to Sealt. Sealt inside to Job. Job back to Ballard. Ballard and Sealt both on yellow cards from the first half. 47th minute, 2-0 to Southampton.
if you've seen now, Nick, that they've changed, isn't it? Sillett is playing right back, and Hume is going to play centre back.
Has he? But at the moment, Hume's out in midfield. Silt's come back to centre back.
I don't
think you have no more idea.
I've got a clue.
As Neil plays the ball out through Barr on the halfway line on the centre spot, wide to Hume. Hume looks up, crosses the ball into the penalty area, easily dealt with by Bednarek. Stuart Armstrong just taps it away to Adam Armstrong. Back to Ryan Manning. Mundell tries to make a nuisance of himself. Bazunu clears out to Sealt, who heads the ball into the middle to Neil. Smallbone tackles him, goes to Stuart Armstrong in the middle, just lays it off now to Stevens. Stevens behind him is Harwood Bellis, back again to Bazunu, and Bazunu pushes it out to Flynn Downs. Jobe went to close him down. Stevens under pressure from Burstow, but it comes back to Bazunu. Just drills it out to Che Adams. Ballard pushes him over. Free kick.
It's got to be careful.
I'm just about to say that. Got to be very careful on that yellow card. Norwich 5, Rotherham 0. The ball back with Bazunu, pushing it out in his light blue kit into the D, passing it through the middle to Che Adams. Little flick through to Adam Armstrong. Comes down to Adam Armstrong again, and on the break here on the left is Stuart Armstrong into the penalty area. Sealt goes to close him down. It's tapped back to Adam Armstrong, edge of the area. He tried to slip it through. Sealt blocks it. Mundell slips. The loose ball picked up by Adam Armstrong. Down to Stuart Armstrong, into Will Smallbone. Clips the ball back over the top. Adam Armstrong trying to chip it over the keeper. But Patterson stretches out his right hand and catches it before it goes behind. And manages to get it out quickly to Dan Neil. Neil now over the halfway line. He's got Barr to his left. Needs some support through the middle here. Riggs following up through. Burstow's at the edge of the area. Barr goes down. The ball picked back up by Southampton, who are in their sort of red pinstripe halves. Their shirts, black shorts, white socks. Bazunu at the back again. Leaving it for Bednarek. Passed out through to Stuart Armstrong. Sealt fouls him.
Every time.
Free kick to Southampton again. It's going to be Bednarek who takes the free kick for Southampton. Tapping it to Ryan Manning. Forwards to Adam Armstrong.
Good tackle.
Good tackle by Trey Hume. And then Jobe trying to win it, but Will Smallbone comes in. Back to Bednarek. Burstow gives chase. It's passed out by Bazunu to Stevens. And Burstow, to his credit, trying to put pressure on Stevens. It's played back to Bazunu again. Out to Flynn Downs, back to the goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper now lifting it up to the halfway line, but straight to Sealt, gives it straight to Adam Armstrong. Now Stuart Armstrong. Sealt tries to win it back, does, but then tackled by Ryan Manning. He was a little bit hurt in that. Looks at the referee, gets nothing, and the ball back with Jobe. Now Sheesh and Rusin warming up. I'm not necessarily saying that's an indicator about the change about to be made, but the two of them warming up down below us.
Offside.
And the offside flag up on Burstow.
The thing is, Nick, do we want to get back into the game, or are we just here to make the numbers up?
Well, we'll see. If Sunderland could get a goal back now, it would certainly liven things up. Here's Stuart Armstrong, little back heel.
Too easy.
To Che Adams in the centre circle, out to Adam Armstrong on the left wing. Sealt going with him. Adam Armstrong taking him on into the penalty area onto his right foot. A deflection off Ballard for a corner. Came off his shoulder.
It's too easy at times, Nick, you know what I mean? You can see Southampton enjoying playing, aren't they? We've got to get closer to him.
Smallbone again to take the corner down here on the left-hand side. Slowly the big men come up from the back for Southampton into the penalty area. They've got three outside the box as well. Smallbone from the left, the 5 times capped Irish international, towards the far post. There's a muddle and a bundle, and the ball breaks for Sealt on the goal line. He kicks it clear, could have dropped anywhere, and Sunderland get it away. Manning picks it up for Southampton, out to Brooks on the left and tries to get it through the gap for Stuart Armstrong, but Ballard manages to get his foot on it to Job, through the middle to Dan Neil, cross on the far side to Barr. Barr now looks up, plays it inside on halfway to Dan Neil. Neil swings it over. It's going to be Ashish and Rusyn, isn't it? Sealt to Job. Job at the edge, the front edge of the centre circle. Hume wide on the left. Yelder halfway inside the Southampton half. Back it comes to Hume. Hume into Job now in the centre circle, and Job swings it over wide on the right to Sealt. Sealt nods it into the path, or he hoped, of Mundle, but Bednarek clears it. Manning, Mundle blocks his attempted clearance. It's a throw to Southampton. Still there behind the goal, the Sunderland fans in towards the corner, getting behind the team as much as they can. The double switch is about to be made by Sunderland. They're stripping off down below in readiness to come on. Ball in midfield. Dan Neil wide to Sealt. Looks for Burster, but played straight to Stevens. Now Smallbone to Brooks, back on halfway to Bednarek. 1-2 with Stevens, then to Stuart Armstrong, through the middle to Che Adams. Adams now looking for a way through, looking for Stuart Armstrong. Low ball, played into the 6-yard box and put over the top and behind by Helder. Another corner to Southampton. Again, Smallbone coming across this left-hand side to take it for the home team. And again, the big men slowly making their way up from the back into the penalty area for Southampton. Fulham trailing 1-0. Smallbone to the far post, punched out by Patterson. Drops here to Manning, leaves it though for Downs, who will play it back to Bazunu, who's just behind the centre circle. The double switch about to be made by Sunderland. Blackburn are down to 9 men in their game this afternoon. The ball headed away by Hume, foul though by Smallbone. And this switch about to be made in the 55th minute by Mike Dodds.
Where they're going to take off? Rigg?
Well, Burstow I think for one.
And Rigg.
And do you think it'll be Rigg? Here's Dan Neil. And out to Hjelde, being forced back, trying to shake off David Brooks. Down the line to Barr. He's tackled, wins it back, loses it again. Now threaded through to Stuart Armstrong, but a little bit hit too hard through the middle for Che Adams to get on the end of. Rolled by Patterson to Sealt. And still waiting patiently to come on. Ashish and Rusyn out through the middle to Burstow, lays it off to Hjelde, just inside his own half. Back again, Dan Neil. And Blackburn apparently down to 10 men, not 9, my apologies for that. And here's Sealt looking to get the ball forwards for Mundle. It'll come down on the left though for Stuart Armstrong, and there's a
free
push
kick
by Downs on Job. It's a free kick to Sunderland. Now the changes will be made. The first is I think Southampton are going to make a change as well at the same time. They are about to make a change. Kalmudin Sulemana is going to come on, the Ghanaian international. Burstow comes off for Rusyn. It's Gateshead 3,
and
Peterborough 1, and Rigg, you were right, is the other. And so Charlton 2, Carlisle 1. Will Sulemana come on now? There's a double switch because they're going to bring on Joe Aribo as well, one of the scorers against Birmingham last time out. They will make the switch now. Double switch by both teams. Sulemana will come on. Oh, he's behind the fourth official, is blocking him in a minute. Comes on for Smallbone. And given a standing ovation as he comes off. And Aribo is coming on for Brooks. So it would seem that Sunderland are heading for possibly 6 defeats in a row. The first time they've lost 6 games in a row, I'm told, since August 2006. And that same season they won the championship. But that was the season, of course, you'll remember, Niall Quinn was in charge for the first.
Yes, indeed.
And they did lose 6 in a row early doors. Through to Mundle, out to Hume, and then one back by Manning, out to Stuart Armstrong. Manning back to Bednarek. 2-0 Southampton lead. We're in the 59th minute. It's now Gateshead 3, Peterborough Sports 2. Sulemana wins the ball on the left-hand side here. Thought he was fouled, so did Russell Martin. Skips past Hume, still going into the penalty area. Silt trying to get onto him, and then Silt makes a good challenge for a corner. Just as Sulemana was about to pull the ball back, Silt had to get that right. Stuart Armstrong.
I think he's injured, Sulemana.
Straight away, do you?
It looks like he's injured.
He's got a funny walk.
Yeah.
Maybe his groin, is he?
Don't know if he's his groin now.
Well, that might be the shortest substitution in history if he has to go off. I think he could be right. Here's Stuart Armstrong with the corner. The flag is up. It's gone out. There's outrage on the far side from the Southampton fans. I think you could be right about Sulemana. They're warming up another substitute here, and he doesn't look at all comfortable.
No.
He's been on 2 minutes.
Not even that.
And he's not. And you can tell he's just sort of. He's leant over a couple of times. He's walking a little bit awkwardly. The referee stopped play in the middle. He's having a word with 3 Southampton players around him. Stuart Atwell. And I think it's Harrogate 1, Crawley 1.
Correct.
The referee's had a word, and Ballard takes the free kick. Out to Kjelder, down the line to Barr. Forwards to Aushish, holding off Harwood Bellis, and now one back on that far side by Aribo, but Aushish has managed to hold him off, and Neil trying to slip it through to Barr on the left-hand side. Barr, left-hand side of the penalty area, into the box with a foot stabbed out by Harwood Bellis. Out to Aribo, back to the loanee from Manchester City, and then Stuart Armstrong lays it off to Aribo. Tackled by Barr, throw to Southampton on their right-hand side. Southampton 2, Sunderland 0 in the 61st minute. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Harwood Bellis will take the throw, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Picked up in the middle by Aribo. And he plays it back to Bednarek. Bednarek bringing this to the left to Manning. And Sulemana has made another run. He's got past Hume, he's got behind him, but Patterson's come out here and caught it.
Well done.
At the edge of the penalty area. He's got a bit of pace, hasn't he? Queen's Park Rangers 0, Middlesbrough 1. Queen's Park Rangers, the visitors to the Stadium of Light next weekend. Pushing the back of Aushish, no foul. And Neil plays the ball across here to Hume on the right. Aushish picks himself up. Hume rolls the ball to the feet of Manning, comes back out to Hume. Hume then slips it inside to Mundle, swings the ball across the 6-yard box, cleared at the feet of Barr, and then out to Neal and Hume, back out to Mundle on the right-hand side. Mundle taking on Stevens, back to, or Manning, back into the penalty area. Bednarek out to Manning. It looked like a handball to me, but the referee plays on. Neal to Mundle. Mundle shot! Oh, he scored!
Well done.
Romain Mundle with his left foot drives it beyond Bazunu in the 62nd minute, and Sunderland are back in the game.
Excellent.
And it's Romain Mundle who's scored.
Left foot.
Very, very nice finish.
Excellent strike by Mundle.
Left foot, struck it sweetly. Did it come in off the post?
Yes.
I think it did. Scraped the post on the way in, but Bazunu could do nothing about it. And Sunderland are back in the game. Great finish. So, game on, as they say. Hull 2, Leicester 1. Southampton 2, Sunderland 1. And Mundle with his first goal of his Sunderland career, and that's drawn the Sunderland fans well and truly to life behind the goal in which Mundle has just scored. Can it inspire them now to find an equaliser?
Well, it injects some life in the game as well, Nick. Bit of urgency.
64th minute now, and it's a throw to Sunderland. You can hear the Sunderland fans away to our right in that corner. Another throw, this time to Southampton, and the perpetrator of that one. Hull 2, Leicester 2. Hull still chasing top 6. Charlton 2, Charlton 2, Carlisle 2. Well, goals raining in at the moment. Free kick to Southampton here. Taylor Harwood-Bellis is going to take it. Preston 0, Stoke 1. Adams beaten to the ball by Ballard, finds Job into the Southampton half, down the left wing here now for Barr, and Barr looks up, crosses here looking for Mundle, stretches and it nearly went in past Bazunu, but just past his post. So I think Southampton feeling a bit of heat at the minute, because Sealt is just intercepted, and Rustin gets caught under his feet
behind him
on the penalty spot, and that would have been, well, it was an opportunity, just didn't fall right for him. Now Bednarek,
I see what Sunderland doing, they're closing down a lot quicker now.
Trying to find Rustin at the corner of the penalty, left foot shot into the side netting, goal kick, and suddenly Southampton find themselves in the game. They've finally found themselves under a bit of pressure.
Exactly, you've used the right words there, Nick. Under a little bit of pressure because they're starting to close people down.
Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 2. 2-1 to Southampton. But Southampton suddenly, as you said earlier, seem to be, another gear available to them. Suddenly I'm going to have to try and find it, because Sunderland have stepped up a gear themselves. But now it's won back by Che Adams. He's got Aribo to his right. Now Sunderland having to get back and defend. Aribo onto his left, rolls it into Stuart Armstrong. Armstrong now to Sulemana. Sulemana tries to place it, comes off Hume, but falls safely into the hands of Patterson.
Ballard's down. Is it?
Yes, on the halfway line.
That's a worrying sign.
Yes. Barr comes back. Referee's jogging over to see if Ballard's okay. Is it cramp maybe? He's stretching his leg, sitting and stretching. Pete Brand's running across. Well, the substitutions again certainly seem to have
belly on somebody.
Yeah, to have changed a little bit, changed things for Sunderland. Did the other night, and done so again today. But have they done enough in changing it to get something from the game?
Well, we started to put a bit of pressure on them, Nick. We started to close higher up the field, which we weren't doing before, because we just mentioned that Southampton were in second gear. There was under no pressure at all.
Dan Ballard's having his legs stretched. You hear those Sunderland fans in full voice to our right. There is a change about to be made. I think Michael Proctor's just given Ed Duckworth, the fourth official, the slip of paper. I think you're right, it'll be Pembele, won't it, who comes on to replace Ballard. So having lost O'Nien for another game, of course, against Queen's Park Rangers next week.
Might be bringing Styles on.
Do you think so? He can
Styles,
play, can't he?
He might play left back and bring Yelder in the middle.
Yelder into the centre. Good shout. Let's see. He's up on his feet. Bournemouth 1, Sheffield United 2. And he's walking across to the touchline along the halfway line, Dan Ballard. It is Styles, you're right, who's going to come on. So I think you're right, he will go left back, won't he? Preston 1, Stoke 1. You're wasted up here, really, Benno. Ballard jogs off, Styles will come on. Yelder
seems all right.
Goes into the
Ballard.
second. Oh, no,
Ballard's
weird, isn't it?
The way he ran off.
Wolves 2, Fulham 0. We're all anxiously.
Are they going to make the substitution? Now they're changing their mind.
I'm not sure they are going to make the substitution.
Ballard's saying he's all right.
Mike Dodd's having a word with Ballard, as is Alessandro Barcarini, and I think he's staying on. Styles disappointed, head down, slinks back into the dugout, and Ballard's coming back on. So that substitution's not being made. Ballard, just a little jog on the spot. They're about to announce a substitution, not realising that Ballard's coming back on. Hold that thought. Patterson's kick up to Bednarek to head away. Aribo battling with Neil, and then Adam Armstrong trying to chip it over Hjelder's head. Hjelder hooks the ball in the air, looking for Barr, headed on, and Ballard comes back on, and now Downs out to Aribo down the right wing. Adam Armstrong holding off Hjelder, back to Downs. Neil trying to tackle him, holding it on the touchline. Rusin trying to dig it out now, and eventually played off Downs.
He's gone down. Ballard's gone down again.
Oh, he's down again, isn't he? No.
What's going on here?
Surely, the change is going to be made now. Ballard is coming off now. It's taken another minute, and he's decided, that's not going to happen. He's going to be replaced by Styles. So off comes Dan Ballard. Hjelder goes into the middle. Styles will come in at left back. 20 minutes left. 2-1 to Southampton. The next goal.
Crucial.
If there is a next goal. BBC Radio Newcastle. 71st minute. Throw to Sunderland in their yellow. Over on the far side. Styles, his first action is to take the throw. Drops over Rusin's shoulder. Played back by Bednarek to Bazunu. And Rusin chases it down. It's cleared by Manning eventually from the feet of Mundell, the goal scorer. Out on the left. Flicked on by Dan Neil on the left wing, looking for Barr. It's going to drop in front of him, and now Sheesh. And eventually Joe picks it up at the edge of the area. Joe shot! Oh! What a strike!
Where did he get that one from?
72nd minute, and Joe curls one over into the far corner. What a finish! Joe with his 6th goal of the season. That was an absolute delight to watch.
Excellent strike.
Wonderful strike.
Great closing down by Sunderland. Stop him from playing out, but what a finish that was by Bellingham.
Brilliant. He just took a sight of the goal, and with his left foot, was it his right, left? Who knows? I don't care. What a finish. Joe smashes one in, and now it's forced another change on Southampton. We're going to bring on Joe Rothwell, the experienced midfielder on loan from Bournemouth for Stuart Armstrong.
It's a double.
And also, is it Bree? James Bree is going to come on as well. But Sunderland now are back in the game, 2-2. And it's Stevens who's coming off. So Stuart Armstrong and Stevens off for Rothwell and Bree. But Job has just pulled Sunderland level. We're now in the 73rd minute. And Sunderland surely can probably believe, they will want to believe
that's
that
right,
they can go on
Nick.
to win it.
One thing which we've seen in the second half is a little bit more belief, haven't we?
Yep. But Joe will remember that strike for some time to come. His dad's here watching it, sitting in the press box, funny enough.
Look at this.
Look at this as Rusin tries to give the chase to the loose ball played out here. And it's QPR 0, Middlesbrough 2. And now back to the goalkeeper, Zunu, closed down by Rusin, hooks the ball away. But 2 goals in the space of 10 minutes for Sunderland, and they're right back in this. Blackburn 1, Plymouth 1, but Blackburn down to 10 men, of course. Here on BBC Radio Newcastle, Southampton 2, Sunderland 2. The ball up to the halfway line, and there's a free kick to Southampton. It's with the substitute, Joe Rothwell, 29 years old now, a former Manchester United midfielder. Cuts across the middle of the centre circle, out to Manning, lifting it down the left, looking for Sulemana, cleared by Hume, up to Bednarek, now with Rothwell, down to Manning again, and Mundle's all over Ryan Manning, trying to get the ball back, but now picked up by Downs. Sulemana, Downs hauls Mundle down. Referee's seen it, let's play go on. Mundle's still flat out. And amidst all that roar, I didn't hear the scores coming
Bournemouth
through.
1, Sheffield United 2.
I thought Bournemouth pulled one back
that's what
a little bit earlier. Oh well.
They must have pulled another one back.
So, and I'm being told again it's Wolves 2, Fulham 0. I'm sure we've had that scoreline before as well. But anyway, here is referee. It'll be a drop ball. 75th minute. Southampton 2, Sunderland 2. Drop ball for Southampton. Bednarek, as the referee's at Bednarek's feet, drops the ball at the pole's feet, and he plays it out to Manning here on the left-hand side, and it's driven up here to Adams. Shelder on his shoulder, but he gets the ball through, but too far through.
Wow. He's got to be careful, Ballard. He's already picked
Southampton.
Sorry.
Watford 1, Coventry 2.
Sorry, Yelder.
Yeah, he's
in the heart of defence now.
There's another one on yellow card.
Yeah.
Yelder, Silt and Ballard obviously has gone off. So Southampton, who saw Ipswich lose earlier today, and they're 8 points behind Ipswich, who are in second place, but with 2 matches in hand, Southampton. And this was a big opportunity for them, but they've been pegged back to 2-2, having been 2-0 up. The ball back to Bazunu, plays it out to Rothwell, trying to get round Silt. Silt gets a foot on it, so does Neil. Then Aribo gets the ball through here, but Job will pick it up, lays it off to Mundle. Mundle skips a challenge of Manning, trying to get through here. Aribo blocks it, rolls it out to Sulemana, and Mundle's in there again. Rusin on the right-hand side now with Romain Mundle. Mundle taking on Sulemana, but Sulemana's got the better of him, and Sulemana will come away with this, and Rusin hauls him down. If that's not a yellow card, I don't know what a yellow card offence is. He rugby tackled him.
That was just a normal tackle, Nick.
He grabbed him by his trousers, hauled him down. They'd be proud of that in rugby league. It's passed out by the goalkeeper, out to the right-hand side, up to Adams, Southampton, but Hjelde makes a block. Adams now trying to get out of defence, pulls it back behind him, and it's passed out to Downs, wide on the right. And there's a possible break here. The flag stayed down. Adam Armstrong's through here into the penalty area, looking up, trying to square it. Block, comes back. Rothwell. Joe Rothwell, the substitute for Stuart Armstrong, has driven it into the bottom left corner.
Yeah, we just got caught out there, Nick, on the break. A counter-attack there by Southampton. And it's a good finish by Rothwell.
The ball pulled back, stopped, blocked by Hume, but straight into the path of Rothwell. Drove it into the bottom left-hand corner. And Southampton back in front again.
What did we say at the start of the match? It's not going to be a 0-0.
No, it's cruel luck on Sunderland. So Sunderland have to do it all again now. Still time. And Charlton 3, Carlisle 2. At the Valley, here's Sunderland kicking off again.
Oh, it gives the ball away.
And now picked up by Adams, trying to get away down the left-hand side here with Sulemana. Southampton 3, Sunderland 2. Manning trying to get through here. Manning now tackled by Dan Neil. Free kick to Sunderland. And Sunderland raise themselves for another equaliser. Sulemana has taken him on the left-hand side, tackled by Hume, and it'll roll down to the corner where it's just kept in by Sulemana. Pulls it back here to Downs. Downs inside to Manning. Mundell trying to force him out with Ashish. Runs though for Harwood Bellis, who puts the ball out. So we've had goals, but unfortunately the balance now fallen again to Southampton with just over 10 minutes to play. Southampton leading 3-2.
I'm going to use that quote again, Nick. It seems as though it's a game of two halves.
Yes,
First half again, Sunderland didn't come out, didn't wake up. Second half, they've had a little go when they've made the changes.
Oh, they're still going to have another go. They've got to have a go again in these next 10 minutes. The ball being played out down the right wing by Southampton. A block by Neil, breaks into Joe Aribo's path though, and now Rothwell again, head down through the middle, 3 against 3 with Rothwell running at them, and Rothwell now passing it through here to Adam Armstrong. It's cleared on the line and Rothwell scores again. 11 yards out, the ball cleared straight to him, and Joe Rothwell's got a brace in the space of a couple of minutes. They swept out of defence.
Rothwell again.
Rothwell it was. Hume picks himself up on the goal line. Adam Armstrong pulled it back. Hume locked it on the line, but Rothwell was there to put the ball home. That combination of Adam Armstrong and Rothwell is deadly. And now that's surely all too much for Sunderland to recover from. 2 goals in 2 minutes from Joe Rothwell. He's on a hat-trick, believe it or not. He's only been on 4 or 5 minutes.
4 or 5 minutes.
And Southampton lead 4-2. Mike Dodds, what's going through his mind at the moment? With 9 minutes left, Sunderland have a corner. It's only their second corner of the game. If they were to score now, it would make things very, very interesting. Ashish is going to take the corner from the right-hand side. Southampton leading 4-2. Ashish then from the right in the 82nd minute.
No.
Hangs in the air, easily headed clear, but the referee's seen something in the penalty area. And it'll be a free kick to Southampton, who lead by 2 clear goals now, 4-2. And one has to feel sorry for Trey Hume. That's twice now in the space of a couple of minutes. He's managed to block chances, only to see Southampton follow up with a loose ball. Southampton about to make another change. Looks like Sekou Moara is going to come on the Frenchman, the French forward, Zaribo. Plays it back to Bazunu. Passes it out now here to the left wing. Ryan Manning. Manning checks, Mundle in front of him. Back to Bednarek. Through to Rothwell, back to Bazunu. Passing it out now to Bednarek. And he's trying to twist away from Rusin, who's won it back. And he's played it now out. Oh, he's just kept it in, Callum Styles. Has it gone out? No. Inside to Dan Neal. Back to Helder, out to Hume, looking for Job down this right wing. Downs on his shoulder, foul on Job, free kick to Sunderland. And Mara, I think, is going to come on now. It's the final change that Russell Martin's going to make. It's coming on for Adams. Yeah, it's a straight swap. Standing ovation for Che Adams. Not on the score sheet today. The Armstrong, Stewart and Adam, and 2 from Rothwell for Southampton, Mundle and Job for Sunderland. Here's Job again, back to Hjelde. Hjelde, it's in his own half. 84th minute. Styles to Barr, and Barr twisting away from Bree, looking now for Styles, but across comes Bednarek and drives the ball out for a throw to Sunderland, and the throw will be taken by Aushish, I think, back to Aushish from Stars. Now it's picked up by Aribo. Deflects off Mundle into the path of Manning. Mundle gives chase, hasn't given up. Manning back inside, looking to get it in the middle to Downs. He slips. Neal gets it now to Aushish. Aushish onto his right foot. Caught by Bazunu, parried down.
Good effort.
Rusin was looking to follow up, but Bazunu's caught it.
Yeah, straight at him.
85th minute. If they could get one, it would make it very, very interesting, the end of this game. Bazunu caught as he clears, slip, but the ball's picked up by Sealt in the centre circle. Now to Neal, back to Sealt, then to Hume. Hume lifting one over the top, looking for Job, headed back towards Bazunu, who catches it. Bazunu rolling it out here to Aribo. Neal's on his shoulder, and the Nigerian slips away past him. He's still going. Lays it off to Rothwell. Now out to Sulemana on the left. Sulemana goes round Hume into the penalty area, and it comes off Hjelde for a corner. It's something else to Sulemana.
Boxer tricks in, he's got a bit of pace.
Oh, hasn't he just? Lost Hume totally then.
He lost me, and I'm sat up here.
Dear, oh dear. Rothwell's coming down, I think, to take this corner on the left-hand side. Southampton lead 4-2. Sulemana down this left with him, and they leave 2 out in midfield. So Joe Rothwell, the 29-year-old midfielder on loan from Bournemouth, with his right foot, curls us in, drops down here towards the far post and headed over by the substitute Mara. Goal kick to Sunderland, taken short and played out here down the right to Hume. And up the other end back to Bazunu. Now wide to Manning again, back to Bednarek, leaping onto it. Aushish now from Neal, but it's hooked away by Bree. It'll drop over the shoulder of Manning, can't keep it in. And Ekra is coming on, yeah. Oh, he has kept it in. Driven it up to Hume. Preston 1, Stoke 2. And now with Styles forwards, trying to get the ball out to Barr on the left-hand side. He's got to come in past Bree to Aushish. Bree gets a foot to it. Aushish trying to win it back, and now down into the corner, wins a throw on the left for Sunderland in the 88th minute. Substitution. Ekwa will come on for Mundle, who got the first of Sunderland's 2 goals. So on comes Ekwa. Could he have an instant impact in the 88th minute? Throw a few yards from the corner on the left-hand side for Sunderland, and back it goes to Hjelde, closed down by Mara, inside to Ekwa, back to Hjelde, lifts it down the left wing, but headed forwards by Bree. One back by Aushish here, and then the referee's given a free kick for a foul on Aribo. 89th minute. Been quite a few substitutions, so I imagine we'll have a fair amount of time added on, but asking a lot for Sunderland to get 2 goals back. But we said before, when they were 2-0 down, it was asking them a lot to get back to 2-2, so don't rule it out. Bazunu passes the ball out to Aribo, gives it away to Ekwa, finds Job. Job lays it back off to Ekwa. Ekwa back to Job with his back to goal, and on his shoulder is Bednarek. It comes back to Ekwa, looking for Aushish, but it drops over him and Harwood Bellis to Bazunu, who rolls it out quickly to Aribo. Aribo now turns, plays it inside to Downs. Downs back to Bazunu. Millwall 1, Birmingham 0. And Bazunu passes it out to Aribo again. And down goes...
He's got him with an elbow. He's got a booking. That's a booking.
What's going to happen here?
It's got to be a booking.
Down? It looks like...
It's got to be a booking,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be a booking.
The referee's come straight across here. He's pulling a card out here.
It's got to be a booking.
And it's going to be a yellow for Aribo.
Today's attendance is 30,869.
You heard that attendance, 30,869. Yellow card for Aribo. Free kick, which Ekwa's going to take. See how much time will be added on
6
in
minutes.
15 seconds. You think 6? Here's Ed Duckworth. Tempted to say the Duckworth-Lewis method, but he's going to raise the board. Michael Proctor's 7 minutes. Rolled through eventually to the goalkeeper Bazunu. We're into the first of those 7 minutes. Southampton lead 4-2. Here's Manning on the left in their own half. Rusyn intercepts. It's a throw off Manning for Sunderland. And Hume will take this, finds Ekwa. Ekwa back to Hume. Hume looks up, swings the ball in, bounces over Ekwa and Aushish, Barr and Aushish. And over on the far side, Bree passes the ball out to Downs. Downs flicks it back to Bree and out to Downs again on the touchline. Adam Armstrong plays it back into his own penalty area and out through the middle to Mara. He's lost it. Aushish! And it's Bazunu who gets his body behind it.
Yeah, straight. Easy take for the keeper.
Yeah. So we played a minute of the minimum 7.
It's interesting, Nick. You know, would you like to see Sunderland play like they have done in the last 35 minutes of the game?
Well, I'd rather see that than the first 65 minutes.
Yeah.
Free kick to Southampton. Bournemouth 2, Sheffield United 2. I think Sunderland fans would rather see that as well, having a go.
Exactly, having a go.
As Bednarek will take this free kick.
The biggest thing, Nick, is that we are on an awful run.
Yeah. Middlesbrough beaten Queen's Park Rangers 2-0, and the ball swept out to Adam Armstrong. He kept it in. Styles gets in front of him, wins it on halfway, comes back into his own half. We played 2 minutes of the minimum 7, and it's played back by Hjelde to Patterson. Kicked out here on the right, looking for Hume. Taps it inside, looking for Joe, but Bednarek got his head to it, and he's caught by Joe, says the referee. And free kick, Jan Bednarek. I tell you what, if their centre-half's getting man of the match, shows you he's had some work to do.
Well, he hasn't had much work to do.
No,
Nick,
but I think the second half he has.
Second half he has, because we put him under a little bit of pressure.
And it's strange looking into the build-up of this game, saying that last week they scored 4 at Birmingham, but they conceded 3. Well, likewise, they've scored 4 here today, but they've still conceded 2, and there's still time. Adam Armstrong pulls the ball back here to the halfway line. Harwood Bellis plays it on out wide, then to Adam Armstrong, back to Bree, and to Harwood Bellis, who's playing as a centre-back now with Bree at right-back, and back to Bazunu. And in the 94th minute now, it slips past Mara, and as it would happen, has fallen for Rothwell, and now Sulemana taking on Silt, drives it off the side netting. Heart in my mouth when he got hold of the ball then, knowing what he can do. But he drove his shot to the left of the post, not to the right. 4-2 to Southampton. Nearly 4 minutes of the 7 played. It's with Aushish, lays it back off to Styles. Inside then to Ekwa. Ekwa across here now to Hume. Hume on the halfway line. Slips it inside to Ekwa. Ekwa just inside the Southampton half. There's a push on Rusin, it was. It's a free kick to Sunderland. We played now 94 minutes. 2 goals in it. Southampton with 4, Sunderland 2. Ekwa with a free kick. Paul, a short pass behind to Dan Neil, then to Ekwa again.
Too hard.
And it's a little bit too ambitious for Job to get on the end of it. Runs behind for a goal kick.
Got a huge game next week, Nick, against
Massive against Queen's Park Rangers.
But again, you know, we sat here, we don't even know what the starting 11 is going to be or what it can be, because we were surprised with this starting 11.
I'm sure there'll be a few surprises next week. And the evidence of this today. Goal kick then, all the players on halfway over towards the far side. And Bazunu's kick, headed on by Mara, looking for Sulemana, but Silt's managed to bring the ball down and slip it away out to Hume on the right.
No.
And it's given straight to Rothwell. He can't keep it in. It's a throw to Sunderland on the right wing. Rothwell kicks the ball away, and I think it's been shown a yellow card for it. Yeah, yellow card for Rothwell. Not that he'll give a monkeys. He's scored 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes this afternoon. Joe Rothwell. Hume will have the throw. Southampton fans feel it's all over. They're all heading off now to beat the traffic. Throw from Hume down to Aushish, looking for the run of Job, who scored a spectacular goal, but it's nodded back to the keeper by Harwood Bellis. Less than a minute and a half left, and Bazuna strolls across the back of his penalty area, throws the ball down. Aushish is going to try and give a bit of pressure, but it's too late. The kick is taken, floats up into the Sunderland half, headed on by Mara, straight back to Patterson, and we're in the last minute. And the ball being brought out by Hjelde, still in his own half, wide to Hume. Hume inside to Ekwa, trying to get it through to Joe, but cut out by Downs, then laid off to Sulemana, flicks it away from Rusin, then Manning back to Bazuna, passed out to Harwood Bellis, up to Aribo on halfway. Harwood Bellis swinging it down the left, Hume cutting it out, playing it back to Patterson, and then he kicks over the top of Sulemana and Adam Armstrong. Flag is up, flag up for offside against Sunderland, and we've got 15 seconds of the 7 minutes left. And Southampton, it is almost certain now, about to record a 4-2 victory, and Gateshead are through to the next round of the FA Trophy. They've won 3-2 this afternoon over Peterborough Sports. The free kick goes out, the full-time whistle's blown, and a 6th successive defeat for Sunderland after pulling the game back to 2-2 in the second half, with then 2 explosive goals from Joe Rothwell, has given victory to Southampton this afternoon. And as you said, what we want to see is more of that last 25 minutes and less of the first 65.
Yeah, and again, you know, we've seen it at Leicester on Tuesday. You know, poor first half, finished the game strongly, and again today, you know, poor first half. Second half made a couple of changes, changed the tempo, intensity of the game. We get back to 2-2, but you end up losing the game 4-2. And the biggest thing what we need to do, Nick, is stop this rot. You've got to stop getting beat. That's 6 in a row now.
Yes, and you wonder,
well, thanks everybody for tuning in again. Thank you very much. I've yet to bring you another 3 points. Can we get the 3 points against QPR? Can we get the 3 points against QPR? Catch us later. Thank you.